Salute to all the diehards. Die Hard Giants Live is back. Let me get my little kids here in here. Yeah, it's been so long, I almost forgot how to do that. But salute to everybody. Salute to all the diehards. This is Die Hard Giants Live. And I'm your man. I am Terrell on IG and Twitter. Well, I guess it's not Twitter anymore. It's X. So, well, XYZ, whatever Elon want to call it today. I am Terrell on there. I got family in the back. Hold on, let me get Steph in here. Steph.
Salute. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You're a little choppy.
Oh boy, y'all know my condition, but this ain't because of me. No, it's just y'all know my location.
It's all good. You actually didn't even start getting choppy until we actually went live, though. That's the crazy part. You was fine before.
I know. I'm super excited to be here with you, Jarrell. Looking forward to the Giants. We have a better team. We have a better quarterback. Just from going through that first season with this new coaching staff, this is his second time in the season. So I expect him in this system, I should say, I expect him to be better. Barkley is back. We've upgraded, the linebacker core. I'm excited.
Yeah, we're going to talk about all that. This is the season review episode. So we're going to go through all the positions, all the new additions to the team. Just real quick, Joe Shane, I'm going to just give my personal thoughts on the offseason real quick. Even though we had an off-season show and we had a draft show, if anybody want to check those out, just look on the channel. They're the last two shows that we did. It was back in May. The last show we did was the draft. So each draft pick that we had, I did a little short profile and a little quick highlight video to discuss all the draft picks. But personally, I think Joe Shane is killing it. Like, I'm actually shocked. Like, I guess maybe because we had Gettleman for a few years, and to me, he was a terrible GM. Before that, we had Jerry Reese, and he had the job for so long. He got a little stale. That's why he ended up getting fired, even though he did have successful draft picks and successful signings. But, after a while, a GM is just time to go sometimes. So, yeah, I did think it was time for Jerry Reese to go. I never wanted David Gettleman, though.
Right.
Just for the simple fact, not because of him personally, it's just because he was almost like an extension of what they was doing anyway.
Right.
Because he was with the Giants first before he went to Carolina. So after building up Carolina, they fired him, and then he came back, pretty much back to us. Even though he wasn't our GM, he was part of our personnel staff. So I knew that once we got him, he was just going to pretty much do whatever the owner wanted.
Right. But wasn't he back there was he with the Giants as far back as George Young? Not that far, right?
No, not that far. More like the Parcells era.
Parcells, okay.
Kind of like that, or in that era, right before Jerry Reese got there. But he actually did a pretty good job in Carolina. Like, they went to a Super Bowl under David Gettleman. But for us, yeah, he was terrible. Like, I think his time has just passed. That's why he hasn't gotten a job yet. I think he's pretty much retired. Like, some people, the time has just passed. Like, he couldn't build a team anymore. He was building us like we was the '85 Bears. Like, drafted Saquon Barkley second. Much as I love Saquon,
right?
He's a New York son of ours. He's from the Bronx. He grew up a Jets fan, but he did grow up in the area. And, he loved playing for the Giants. But for us to pick him second overall in today's NFL was pretty much malpractice.
Right.
Like, Saquon, much as I love him, and even though we're going through a big contract negotiation with him now, it's still ongoing, even though we signed him to a year.
Right.
He shouldn't have been in that position in the first place. But running backs aren't really supposed to be drafted this high. This isn't the 80s or the early 90s anymore. But David Gettleman did it, and I don't want to say we stuck with Saquon because he's such a good player. So it's kind of hard to say negative stuff about him, but he shouldn't be on the Giants. Let's just say that. We should have got, we didn't pick Josh Allen because we picked Saquon Barkley.
Right.
There was a couple quarterbacks, a couple linemen we could have used. But they just wanted Saquon another weapon for Eli, even though Eli's time was past him a little bit.
Right.
So.
Right.
Salute to our guy Stafford Don in the house.
Right. And the weapons Eli Manning needed was on the front, what was on the offensive line.
Right, exactly. So the way that we was building the team, was pretty much just malpractice. That's why when Joe Shane actually got here last year, he had like the cap space that we had was ridiculous. Like they was
Right.
handcuffed in any way. We had to give up one of our best corners to who was James Bradbury. Give up one of our best corners because we couldn't afford him anymore. He ended up going to the Eagles and then going to the Super Bowl. And he was a big.
Right.
He wasn't the only part of it, but he was a big part of their defense. They had a top five defense. So
Right.
giving rivals some of our starters, that's pretty much grounds for being fired right there. But Joe Shane and Brian Dable, who was the coach of the year last year, they've been killing it this offseason.
Yeah,
So,
for sure. That Isaiah Simmons, I'm sure, maybe we'll get a chance to talk about that.
yep.
That's another um move. And I'm sure there was a lot of reasons why they got him for just a seventh,
Hmm.
but he just fits what Wink Martindale, wants to do. So he
Yep.
can be able to use him in a lot of different ways. So I am super excited about Isaiah Simmons. He was somebody I wanted during the draft. I'm not
Hmm.
mad now that they got Thomas because he's gonna be around forever,
Right. As he
forever,
should.
as he should. Um, but I liked Simmons.
Right.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to talk about that when we go to the position groups. But first, salute to everybody in the chat. Salute to everybody that was going to come up, especially on the replay. I know a lot of people don't know that I'm going live because I kind of put it out late.
Hmm.
Uh, but salute to everybody. First,
Salute.
we go do the team captains. Like the Giants are one of the few teams in the NFL that have 10 captains.
Mm.
Usually it's just maybe like 3, 4, maybe even 5 because of special teams. But
Hmm.
I think they kind of started that last year because last year we had 10 also. But
Wow.
everybody see the names on the screen. The two really good names that's on here that I'm actually a little shocked by, even though they're good players, are the two newcomers of the team.
Yes. Yes.
Darren Waller and Bobby Okereke. Like it's kind of
Hmm.
unheard of for a team because when it comes to the captains, sorry, this is not like the coaches or the GM. They don't pick them. This is all voted by the players themselves. So for them to actually vote for Darren Waller and Bobby Okereke, that should show you the type of leadership that they've brought to the team already. Like they haven't even
Already.
played a
Hmm.
game yet.
Yep.
Haven't even played a game yet. Darren Waller has only played in all of preseason. He only played one drive and was phenomenal during that drive. So in order for them to be on this list, I think is really saying something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but everybody else, Daniel Jones, Saquon, um, Andrew Thomas, like you guys see the list. Everybody knows who these players are. There are
Right.
starters. There are best players on the team, aside from a couple other players. But these none of these names are really surprising, except for the two newcomers, because everybody that was a captain this year, I believe, was a captain last year as well.
The defense got most of the captains. I'm a little concerned about the offense now. We
Because
only
I guess
well,
there's
we
a reason.
well we got. I'm talking about the line. Like they just got
Hey man,
Andrew Thomas.
when we talk about the position groups, you're gonna see why. Because when it comes to the Achilles heel of this team, that is the position that we're gonna definitely talk about. With
Yeah, it's not very deep.
not very
Right.
deep at all, man.
Yeah.
So Andrew Thomas is supposed to be the only person that's probably on there. He's the only one. You have to be not just a leader, but you have to be able to produce on the field and be one of those people that we lean on to. I don't think Evan Neal is there yet. He didn't have a really good season last year,
Right.
his rookie year. But
Right.
going forward, hopefully, I could see him being the type of person that would be on this list, though.
Right.
I could see him being a leader just by the way he's speaking a lot of interviews and stuff. He's a pretty good kid.
Right.
So now we go to the position groups. Hope let me see if it's big enough so everybody can see. Yeah, I think it's good because I have
Yeah.
to do size these graphics up myself. So start off, we go by quarterback. It's no brainer. Daniel Jones and Tyrod Taylor. That wasn't going to change.
Right.
We had a third quarterback, Tommy DeVito. He was a local kid out of Jersey. That actually played pretty well in the preseason, but he wasn't going to be good enough to overtake Tyrod Taylor for the second quarterback slot. So he's going to be our practice squad quarterback. They already released him, and he already came back for our practice squad. So whoever is actually looking for Tommy DeVito. He's going to be on our practice squad because a lot of people actually liked him during the preseason.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm super can we do we comment now or
yeah. We can comment on
yeah,
every position group. Daniel Jones is really the only person to comment on, so I kind of figured you
right.
would, want some words about Daniel.
Yeah. As you know, I wasn't high on Daniel Jones coming out the draft, but
Hmm.
I really liked what I saw last season. I think his second year in this system, with this coaching staff, I'm expecting, big things from him. We'll we'll get to the offensive line because he's gonna need some protection, I think, to really, show his full potential now that he has the weapons,
Right,
you know? So this is what I'm looking for. Him to be in that pocket, have the protection, be able to get the ball out to his weapons, and if things break down, to be able to run. I don't want the offensive line breaking down as soon as he get the ball so that he has
right.
to start running, right away. So I'm really looking forward to Daniel Jones. And, if he was to get hurt, I mean,
I personally think I don't mean to cut you off. We get hurt, we in trouble. If he gets hurt, we in trouble. I can understand people like Tyrod Taylor because he run around a lot. He's always
Mhm.
been, an athletic quarterback back there. He's been in the league for a long time, so he
Mhm.
actually has, a lot of experience as a starter and as a backup. But yeah, if
Mhm.
Tyrod Taylor is our starting quarterback, we are definitely in trouble. Last year, Daniel Jones actually got hurt during the what game was that? I think it was the Chicago Bears game. Remember when Saquon was running like quarterback?
Yes,
The
yes, I
reason
remember.
because we the reason why Brian Dable had to throw out the Wildcat real quick at the end of the game is because Daniel Jones got nicked up. I think he hurt his ankle. Tyrod Taylor came in, I think, after 2 plays and got hurt himself.
Right.
So
Mm.
I think he took off and ran. He got hit hard, and he's a little fragile. Like he only played like 2 plays, and then they had to put Saquon in there because we don't have a third quarterback on the roster. Um, it,
Right.
it, it actually, I wouldn't say that's the reason they did it, but it actually led to a rule change in the NFL. Before, um, in the last few years, you wasn't actually able to have a third string quarterback. I don't know if a lot of people noticed that, but now NFL teams are allowed to have third string quarterbacks on the roster.
On the roster or in the practice squad?
No, on the
It
roster.
On
Like,
the
well,
roster. Oh,
yeah,
so the Giants just chose not to.
yes, the Giants just chose not to, but now you can use one of your roster spots for a emergency quarterback, and it won't be. I'm not sure if it'll count against the 40. I mean the 53, but they have it that way just because of what happened to us won't happen,
Right.
and what happened to it happened to the 49ers in the playoffs against the Eagles.
Okay.
Their quarterback who ended up being their third string quarterback anyway at the start of the season. They had a seventh round quarterback by the name of Brock Purdy. He ended up being their starting quarterback because Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt. So he was the third string quarterback, but then he ended up being the starter. But
Right.
during the playoff game, he got hurt, and then their backup Josh Johnson got hurt also. So they didn't really have a quarterback to actually play. So if that rule was in place, they would have been able to like store a third quarterback on the roster, so they wouldn't be able to be in that position just like we were against the Bears.
Right.
So salute to my guy Mike. You got a question real quick? Hold on. Any early record prediction from you guys? I was going to save
Mhm.
that from the end of the show.
Mhm. Mhm.
Mike, like the record prediction, like real quick, but without going through the games, because we're going to go through the schedule towards the end of the show after we get through the position groups. Um, I mean, we can go through when we go through the schedule, we can do the predictions, but I would guess maybe around the 8 to 11. I will put us in
Wow.
that range. Anything under 8 is ridiculous. That means we got mad injuries, and I don't see us taking that far of a step backwards. But
Right.
if we get to like 10 and 11, that means a lot of things broke right for us.
Right. Right. Yeah, I was gonna say 9, but you're right. For 11, a lot would have to break, right?
Yeah, a lot will have to break right. So going to moving on to the running. Oh, you was cool with Daniel Jones? Did you have
Yeah,
anything you
yeah.
want?
I said what I need to say. Yeah.
Okay, running backs is pretty much just like the quarterback room. We all know that Saquon Barkley is the dominant back in that quarterback
Mhm.
room. We got Matt Breida, Gary Brightwell. He didn't play during the preseason. I understand that he's a running back, but he's our special team ace, if you want to call it. He's been on the team for a few years, but he's one of our special team gunners and he's our kick returner. So we're probably going to use him in that capacity pretty much only.
Right.
Eric Gray, like I said before, we had a rookie show. Matter of fact, it was the last show. I did a whole profile on Eric Gray. Really good running back coming out of Oklahoma. Had a pretty decent um, preseason. He's not the quickest of running backs, but he has good vision. He has good hands, and he actually might be our punt returner this year. I'm not sure how successful he's going to be when it comes to that because of the short area quickness, but he'll at least be able to fair catch stuff back there.
I was about to say,
So
just don't make a mistake
right,
and
exactly.
let the offense, take over. Yeah.
Right, exactly. But he also is a rookie back there too. So I'm not sure
Yeah.
much how much they trust him. If it was up to me, we'll go through the position groups wide receiver next. But Sterling, I think the last preseason game against the Jets, they had like Sterling Shepard like fielding punts just to fair catch it out. Like we don't really have a bona fide, solidified good punt returner on this team, at least
That's
not yet.
important. That's important.
So like Saquon Barkley, everybody knows the story that's been going on this summer with the contract he signed. Um, they gave him incentives to come in so he wouldn't miss any practice and wouldn't miss any camp. I was completely shocked that throughout all of this, Saquon Barkley did not miss one practice. He did not miss a single meeting at the Giants facility, even though he didn't play any preseason. He wasn't going to play the preseason anyway.
Right.
But I'm actually shocked, and it kind of shows you what type of leader and the type of person Saquon is just for him to do that
Right.
because he did not have to show up. Um, yeah, most running backs that are on the franchise tag, yeah, they don't show up till maybe the week before the season starts.
Mhm.
Saquon was there as soon as camp started, like with the rookies and stuff. So that should show you how much he loves football, how much he loves the team, and how much he actually wants to stay as a New York Giant. I'm not saying that he's going to play for us for free, but as
Right.
long as we give him any type of competitive offer, Saquon isn't going anywhere. I don't see it.
Well, the offers we gave him were competitive, and
Yeah,
he
yeah,
didn't
you're right.
take them. He didn't take 'em.
I can't argue that. At least from the stuff that they reported, I was shocked that he turned down some of that stuff. And if I was them, I could see why they didn't give him more. Like that's crazy. You can't
Right.
just open the bank vault for Saquon Barkley just because he plays running back, regardless of the type of person he is, because he is a great player. And like I say, he's a pillar of the community. He's like a perfect prospect or perfect character type dude when it comes to the leadership of the locker room. But you can't just open your open the bank vault for a running back. It's just not gonna happen.
Right. Right. And I like the way they handle it because if that was Gettleman, he might have signed him for 4 years.
Yo, Gettleman would have got more than Daniel. I mean,
75 million.
he would gave him more than Daniel Jones. It's like Saquon Barkley would have been the first $30 million a year running back in NFL history, man.
And Daniel Jones would have been on the tag.
Right. Even though he drafted him too, but he like
Right,
Saquon Barkley
right.
since that was his first pick.
Mhm.
Yeah, he loves Saquon Barkley. Like for him to be picking second, he almost has to give him a big contract just to save face of that terrible
Right,
pick.
right, 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 right.
So, yeah, we can move on to the wide receivers. This is the position group that's changed the most.
Mhm.
Last year, we complained all season about Daniel Jones not having weapons on the outside. Our number one wide receiver, if people remember, was Richie James.
Mm.
So that should show you how bad the wide receiver room was last year. Darius Slayton was there, obviously, but he's not considered a number one wide receiver by any stretch of the imagination. He's more like a just a chess piece that you can use because he's fast. We all obviously see him drop a lot of balls last year. Isaiah Hodgins is probably the most impressive from last year because we got him off the practice squad from the Bills. Obviously, Joe Shane and Brian Dable coached him and drafted him being a being a player on the Bills. So Joe Shane was one of the people that actually kept him on that practice squad because he was the assistant GM there. And we kind of poached him from the Bills. Let's just say that. I don't think the Bills wanted to get rid of Isaiah Hodgins, but they didn't have room on the roster, and we got him.
Right.
But Wan'Dale Robinson, real quick, he was Joe Shane's second round pick last year, but he got hurt towards ACL like in week 7 or something like that. So the fact that he's actually back this fast, I'm completely shocked. I don't know at what capacity he's going to be at because they just took him off the injured reserve list like a week before the final cut day was. So I'm not sure what Wan'Dale Robinson is going to do within the first couple of weeks if he does anything because we just haven't seen him do anything since week 7 of last year.
Right.
But the two Sterling Shepard is back on the squad. Before I go forward, we need to give it up for Shep. He's our longest tenured Giant now, which is kind of crazy. Makes me feel old because Sterling Shepard being old, that just means I'm old as hell. Because I remember when he was a baby face wide receiver that we also picked in the second round a few years ago. But the key additions to this team from in the wide receiver room, I should say, is Paris Campbell and Jalen Hyatt. We did,
Rookie.
the rookie Jalen Hyatt out of the third round. Like I said, I did a rookie show and an off-season show earlier, so you can go back. We did profiles on both players. Both players are very, very fast. Paris Campbell was clocked in the combine as like a 4.33, I think he ran. So he's track star fast. Jalen Hyatt is even faster, even though he ran a slower time. He ran a 4.4 at the combine, if I'm not mistaken, on a hurt hamstring.
Mm.
And he still ran a 4.4. So he didn't run as fast as he was supposed to at the combine. Because naturally, if you actually look at his tape and if you see him running around in preseason, he's more like a 4.2 guy. Like he can fly down the field. So if defenders can't get their hands on him, he is slight. So he's a little light in the ass. So if you do get your hands on him, you can push him around. But if you don't touch him coming off the line of scrimmage, he's going to fly past pretty much everybody in the NFL.
Yeah. Who do you think is starting? Is Paris Campbell starting?
I would think of Paris Campbell as our starting slot guy.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be
He's
the one
tall for a slot. Isn't he like 6'2"?
no, like 6'1", I believe.
6'1"?
But that's one thing I was going to talk about later on when we talk about the schedule and how, especially Dallas week 1, a lot of teams are now that I've noticed that they're putting their number 1 wide receivers in the slot. It pretty much started back in Michael Thomas from the Saints. Yeah, Michael Thomas is a big guy, 6'2", 6'3", big guy, but they put him in the slot and he was just terrorizing the middle of the field. He actually led the NFL in catches for like 2 or 3 years. And that was the reason why ever since then, it's a copycat. NFL is a copycat lead. Ever since then, a lot of teams have been putting their number 1 guy in the slot.
Including Dallas.
Including Dallas.
Including
we were
Dallas.
talking about. Cooper Kupp is famous for being in the slot now. He's led the NFL in catches, yards, and touchdowns the last 2 seasons, along with Justin Jefferson, who they play in the slot also. So yeah, back in the day, like the little slight wide receivers, the short ones used to be mainly in the slot, but now since this is a passing league, they can be anywhere. You can have short guys on the outside. Like I actually think Sterling Shepard, they have him down pretty much as a outside wide receiver, not a slot.
You think he's going to start Sterling Shepard though?
No, but when he does come in, he will be an outside wide receiver more than a slot, or
More than a slot.
or they'll move him around. Like the slot guys are mostly like Campbell, Robinson, Sterling Shepard a little bit, and Jalen Hyatt. Jalen Hyatt, they'll move everywhere because, like I said, he's slight. And when you're in the slot and you have wide receiver in motion, the reason that they do that with the number 1 guys is because it's hard to press them.
Right.
Can't press somebody that's in motion.
Right.
It's impossible because they're moving laterally to the line of scrimmage. So a lot of times when you see Jalen Hyatt flying down the field, I guarantee you it will be from the slot position
Mm-hmm.
for the most
Mm-hmm.
part. He actually got a touchdown in the preseason like that. They just ran him up the seam in the slot. It
Mm-hmm.
was post and go, and he scored a touchdown after a big crucial drop, which I like too. So yeah, the outside wide receiver starting it will probably be Isaiah Hodgins and Darius Slayton.
Yeah, thank you for sending the video on Darius Slayton and the guy. I don't know if that's his trainer or whoever he's
Mhm.
working with. That they've been working on his hands
Yeah,
and him catching the ball. So that was my issue with Slayton since his rookie year. I just
right,
felt like you got one job. That's to catch the football. So
right.
apparently that's supposed to be better this season. And listen, he came out of dust
Yeah,
last season. Barely, making the team and
yep,
wound up. I don't know if he led us in receiving yards, but he was up there. And this season, if he's able to catch the ball
right.
more consistently.
I believe he did lead us in yards, but he didn't lead us in catches. That was actually Richie James and
Okay.
Saquon. Saquon and Richie James tied us, and it was only like 57 balls. Like it was terrible. Like
Okay.
like that's how bad our wide receiver room
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
was last year. Because remember, Sterling Shepard got hurt. I believe Sterling
Mm-hmm.
Shepard would have been the leading receiver because he even scored a
Mm-hmm.
touchdown in our first game against the Titans, and then he got hurt, I think, in the second game. So
Mm-hmm.
Wandale Robinson was hurt. He's he can be the type of person that can get a lot of catches coming out the backfield, but he got hurt also, so I don't know exactly how he's going to be. But to answer your question, Isaiah Hodgins and Slayton would probably be the outside wide receivers, and I would
Mm-hmm.
guess that Paris Campbell will be our slot guy just to start the game off. You'll see him in motion a lot, and you'll also see Paris Campbell probably come out of the backfield a lot too. Because
Nice.
I think regardless of who plays the slot is going to have backfield carries or backfield routes coming out of the backfield because they even did it with Jalen Hyatt. Like even in the preseason, they had him in the slot and they ran like a little end around
Mm,
for it. So so look for like our real playmakers to be like Campbell, Hyatt, and Robinson. Like they're going to be everywhere around on the field.
What's the offensive coordinator's name again?
Mike Kafka.
Kafka. Is he as creative? I'll put it that way.
Hmm.
As Wink?
See, that's the thing. I wouldn't necessarily say. Well, I would say the way Wink is creative is because he likes positionless defense
Mhm.
and he likes to blitz everybody from anywhere on the field. Mike Kafka is good enough to beat Wink though if he has good weapons around him.
Mm,
I almost think a good offensive coordinator. I think it all depends on your weapons, who's the quarterback, your line, how good your line is. But say if our number one offense during training camp was killing our defense. Let's just say that. That's just because if you're going to blitz a lot, if you have a good quarterback back there and you have a good offensive line, you should be able to get through that.
right.
Wink's defense is banking on your quarterback not being able to do that though.
Right.
Let's just say that. So especially a lot of young quarterbacks, Wink
Mhm.
terrorizes young quarterbacks. Bill Belichick does the same thing as well. That's why you see a lot of young quarterbacks do terribly against the Patriots because of
Right.
that. But Mike Kafka is a pretty good offensive coordinator. That last year was his first time calling plays. Like he was just the quarterback coach for Kansas City with Pat Mahomes. So
Wow.
he didn't call plays there. Brian Dable called plays for Buffalo, but for us, Mike Kafka was the one calling plays. Like he gave him the responsibility, even though he's
Mhm.
never been a OC. He gave him the responsibility, and it did pretty well. Like Mike Kafka went on a few head coaching interviews this
Mhm.
past off season. So I don't expect him to be with us next year.
Wow.
Wink, yes, I think like his time as a head coach, he went on a couple interviews too. That's how great of a coach he is.
Mhm.
But I think Wink said that this is probably the last time he went on a round of interviews like that. Like
Mm.
he's probably going to, if he doesn't get fired, Wink said he would like to retire a New York Giant as the defensive coordinator.
Oh wow.
Like he's come to grips with him probably not being with his age and stuff. He's
Well,
come
he
to
in his
grips,
60s?
something like that. I think so. Early 60s.
Mm.
I have to look it up, but I would guess
Mhm.
that Wink is probably in his early 60s, late 50s. So I don't know. After this year, it's probably a tiring experience, man. Like you probably don't want to go through that anymore.
Right.
Yeah, but Mike Kafka, he's young, ex quarterback. I remember when he played for Minnesota. He really knows the game. He's really, really young, and people like that in the NFL are going to get a head coaching chance,
Right.
like sooner or later.
Right.
We would have to completely do a complete 180 for teams not to want him next year. If he doesn't get a job, he's definitely going to go on interviews again. Let's just say that. So that's the wide receivers. Any other questions about the wide receivers?
No, I'm excited about the wide receivers, and then we talk about this tight end class. Daniel Jones,
Uh,
he's gonna have the weapons that he needs. He
yep.
has the weapons that he needs, I should say.
Like tight end, Darren Waller is going like we complain about not having a number one wide receiver. Darren Waller is going to be our number one wide receiver this year. I think he's
Right.
going to, God willing, he stays healthy. That's a big if because he's been injury prone the last 2 years.
Mhm.
If he stays healthy, Darren Waller might end up being the best tight end or the best tight end with the best numbers of anybody in the NFL this year. That's how much I think they're going to have the offense tailored around him. I could tell by
Mhm.
the one drive during the preseason game with the Jets. Darren Waller had like 4 catches, and he could have had 5, and he dropped one.
Mm.
So that's just one drive. Is if he has that same type of output, game in and game out, he's unguardable one on one. He's too big for corners and safeties, and he's too fast for linebackers. So
Right.
a lot of times you're going to see Darren Waller wide open. He's that type of player and that type of athleticism. He's really good. He's honed in on his route running. He has good hands. So I think he's
Mhm.
actually going to be, even though he plays tight end, you're not going to see him block hardly at all. That's for Daniel Bellinger. He's going to be our blocking tight end. We're going to have a lot of 2 tight end sets, and Darren Waller is going to catch a lot of balls this year. I would guess if he stays healthy, if that's a huge if, he's going to catch over 100 balls this year.
Mm.
So
Wow.
so think of Mike Kafka coming from Kansas City as the quarterback coach, and he studied under Andy Reid and Eric. Hold on, I got my man Eddie C in the back. Hold on, let me Eddie C, what's good, bro?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
Good, good. Good to see
Good
you.
man.
Good to actually see you. SEE. Because
Yeah.
usually,
Yeah, you usually got the camera on, man. Thank you for showing your face on Die Hard Giants all the way from Costa Rica, man. How the hell are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I got a brand new tablet, so now I can stream and show myself on camera because I'm on my working computer
Mhm.
and
oh,
it
okay.
doesn't have a camera. So
Okay.
that's the only reason why I do it the way I do it. But yeah, I'm not shying away from the spotlight or from
Right.
like camera action. That's not me. It's just it's just the way I'm set up. But I got my little tablet, so I'm ready to rock.
Cool.
Nice.
Thanks for
Nice.
joining us, man. So, are you a Giants fan, or you just like football? I was
Um, nah, I'm a diehard. I am a Giants, Knicks, Yankees guy. So
nice.
that's my trio.
I am one of those as well. So,
Yeah. That's the best trio in the world.
right. So now we was in the middle of talking to salute to Corey Lee in the chat. Salute, bro. We was in the middle of talking about Darren Waller, and I was saying that I actually think Darren Waller. You're a big fantasy guy, so
Mhm.
I don't know if you picked Darren Waller. Me being a huge Giants fan, I'm in like 3 or 4 fantasy leagues. I picked Darren Waller in all of them, and I picked him early, like in the 4th round. So I actually
Mhm.
think that, barring injury, obviously, because Darren Waller is kind of injury prone, I think Darren. I was telling Steph, I think Darren Waller might catch like 100 balls this year. It's going to be like Travis Kelce and KC.
Wow. Wow.
Um, I mean, he has the ability to do so. It's not like he doesn't have the ability to do so.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, fantasy and real life football are two different animals, right? Obviously, in real life football, it's great to have a Darren Waller, especially with the wide receiver core that we have, right? So he's an important piece of the offense for us. But you said it, man. It's with him is barring injuries.
Right.
Um, so that's the reason why I didn't choose Waller in any of my fantasy leagues. I thought he was just too high. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? When it came to that. But in real life football, he has the ability to be a top 3 wide receiver this year. In the NFL, he has to stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to scheme for him very well. He's going to be able to catch a lot of balls, and he's going to be able to catch a lot of touchdowns. So, you know, with him, it's you know it's that circle with the plus on it. You know, the injury concern. But if he stays healthy, man, you know he's pretty much a beast. There's not really many people that can guard him on any given night, man.
Right. I got my man Uncle Freezy in the back. Hold on one
Uh-oh.
second. Let me see. I don't know what Freezy gonna talk about. I know
Because he ain't no Giant fan.
he ain't no Giants fan. I shouldn't even bring him up here. Hold on one second.
Shot, 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 shot,
Yo,
Freezy,
yo.
shot,
good,
shot,
man.
shot, shot.
Big
Hey, everybody.
How the hell are you, Big Freeze? How you doing, Uncle Freeze?
I'm okay.
See, I usually don't let Bears fans up here. You know what I mean? This is a Giants fan, and we kind of did beat y'all last year. So, but I'll let you have your piece tonight, man.
Right.
What's good, bro?
Right. Ain't nothing to it. Man, it smells different in here. This chat room feel funny.
Know why? Because it's football, man.
No. Okay.
All right.
Just coming through the support. And I ain't got nothing, man.
Smell like a tailgate party?
Smell like dysfunction. Smell like dysfunction in here.
Dysfunction.
Not this year.
I
Don't
would
try to push buttons, Freezy. Don't be trying to push buttons now.
right, man. Don't be trolling us, man. Like,
No, I'm not trolling. I'm coming in to say hello and kick it with fellow NFL fans. If the Giants still in the NFL, I think.
yeah, man. For now, they ain't kick us out yet, bro.
So let's
Out yet. So the next position group, real quick, where we just got rid of talking about the tight ends, is going to our offensive line grouping. So this,
I wanted to say something.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Sure.
About Bellinger.
Okay.
I think I like the versatility of Bellinger.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and just in terms of him being able to catch, him being able to block.
Mm-hmm.
You can do some things where when you put him and Waller there, you don't know who about to do what.
Right.
Because he has that versatility. So I like Daniel Bellinger. I don't know much about Lawrence Cager. Mm-mm. I don't know much about him.
Real quick, you're absolutely right about Bellinger. In the one drive that we did have against the Jets with the starters played, like I said, Darren Waller had like 4 catches. I think he dropped one, but Daniel Bellinger is the one who got the ball in the red zone and scored the touchdown, because Darren Waller, in the red zone, you got to have like 2 guys on him.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as he's double teamed, Daniel Bellinger can, he can have a field day out there, especially in the red zone. So we was already one of the best red zone offenses in the league last year without any weapons. So this year, as long as the line holds up, which is the next position group we're going to talk about, like we're going to be a problem in the red zone. And real quick about Lawrence Cager, he's kind of the reason I think he made the team this year is because he's not say that he's a Darren Waller clone or anything, but he is also one of those tight ends that don't. It's not an inline blocker. He's an XY receiver turned tight end. So
Okay.
just in case Darren Waller gets hurt, and it's a good chance that he will.
Gotcha.
Not saying that he's Darren Waller, but they don't have to change that much when it comes to their packages when they have two tight ends on the field.
Gotcha.
So he's like an Isaiah Likely from the Baltimore Ravens.
Yes, from the Baltimore Ravens. Yes, I actually like him too.
Except not that good, right? But yeah,
I'm pretty sure he's not because I've never heard of Isaiah Likely in his rookie year. I already knew who he was, and when Art Andrews was out, he produced.
He's got hands.
I also want to say something about Bellinger quickly before if we can.
Sure.
To me, he's in that same line of group of obviously he's not a rookie, but he's in that same tier, I think, with those Musgraves, with those Laportas. I think that highly of Bellinger. He had a freak injury last year, breaking his orbital bone.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, he was getting going. You know what I'm saying? He was the tight end, and DJ trusted him. He was catching a lot of balls. He could run he could get yak. So that's a nice piece to have, a nice young player to have. And I think that's the reason why they took the chance on Darren Waller, knowing that if anything happens, they still got Bellinger there that can produce.
Right.
Right.
Like, even though like Darren Waller is technically the starting tight end, Bellinger is going to play a lot. We're going to have two tight ends on the field a lot. Like Darren Waller is pretty much playing and going to be lined up outside and will be our number one wide receiver.
Right.
He's just pretty much a tight end through position name, not by how we're going to use him at all. I don't think. So yeah, I really, really love Daniel Bellinger. And when he got hurt last year with his eye, I kind of felt that he was on his way to becoming like a household name when it came to us. Like he's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask a question before we get to the O-line.
Sure.
When you look at how many players are in each position, the more players that's there, does that mean the more we should be concerned? Because when I look at this O-line, we got like 20 offensive linemen.
That's just how the that's just how
we think like we don't have a lot of good ones, so just get the numbers,
Right. Like that's what any team. You're always going to have a lot of O linemen and a lot of D linemen and defensive backs and wide receivers, because those are the biggest position groups naturally, and a lot of injuries coming there. Like we got
it has a lot to do with injuries, Steph, because offensive line, you got to realize they're the ones that are protecting the quarterback, and the linebackers are coming in hot every single play. So they're the ones that are going to get hit every single time. So offensive line is a very important. That's why they get picked number 3, and you don't know who they are, and they get paid a lot of money.
Right.
But that's because their job is that important.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Right. But usually that's what it is, though.
That's why so many, because I just don't think the Giants' offensive line is that strong this year. But we about to get into it.
Yep, definitely about to go into it. It's actually our Achilles heel this year. Daniel Jones and Waller, we could talk about all the numbers, Saquon and all that, or what they're going to do this year. If our old linemen can't block, then they won't do anything. Like Daniel Jones will be on his back for the most part. So I'll go through them real quick. Bredesen and Mark Lewinsky are probably going to be our starting guards. Joshua Zidu, him and Bredesen was actually going back and forth with the position throughout preseason. So I don't know if it's going to be like I don't know. They might just switch them out. But for the most part, I think Ben Bredesen is going to be our left, and Lewinsky is going to be our right guards. So technically, you would call them like the weakest part of the line because of our tackles. I mean, we don't really have to say that much about Andrew Thomas at this point. Right. He's a top 5 are top 3, and he ain't 3 left tackles in the game. He's we don't have to worry about Andrew Thomas.
Right.
Evan Neal had a bad year last year, rookie year. Hopefully he'll take a huge step. That is one position that if he doesn't take a big step, then we might be in a little bit of trouble. He can't have the same type of year he had last year if we want to actually push the ball down the field and have big plays. Like Daniel Jones is not going to have enough time to get the ball downfield if the outside, if he can't, we already know the left side is sealed up, but the right side, and we have to have Saquon chipping and blocking to help Neal out. Like
Right.
the big plays aren't going to come like we want them to. But our starting center is going to be John Michael Schmitz.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to. I actually personally think he's going to be really good, but he might not be good this year because he's a rookie. But going forward, I think he has the type of talent that he can be a Pro Bowl center if he gets it all together. And the way they talk about him, it seems like they really love him. So I think being a Pro Bowl type of center, we picked him in the second round. I think that's what his trajectory or ceiling is going to be in the league. If he's not going to be a perennial Pro Bowler, he'll definitely make it a few times during his career. I think that's the type of drive he has and the type of talent he has at that position. But for the most part, our weaknesses are going to be our guards this year.
Yeah.
They can easily be upgraded. We couldn't upgrade them this year, but depending on how they do this year, I would think one of our first picks in the draft next year will be an interior lineman in the first 3 rounds. We're going to pick a guard soon.
Yeah. When I was listening to the the roster prediction shows, a lot of them weren't high on Shane Lemieux. A lot of them didn't even have him making the team. And some of them weren't high on Matt Pert at all.
Right.
Didn't want him to make
Right.
Didn't want him to make the team.
Yeah.
And let's hope Evan Neal has a second season. I mean, maybe not as good of a turnaround as Andrew Thomas, but it needs to be close.
I mean, he has that type of pedigree.
Right.
I don't know if it's more of a mental thing with Neal because he has the pedigree, he has all the tools, right? Mm-hmm. And he was also a left tackle in college.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Correct.
So switching yourself, all the technique that you have used throughout probably his whole career, his high school years and his college years, now you switching them to a different. He has to get a little bit of time. With, like I said, the pedigree, I'm willing to give him time. I like Matt Pert. I like his physical attributes. It's just it's not all connecting for him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But he's somebody that I don't mind keeping around. But the guy that I'm really excited for is John Michael Schmitz. I mean, we've been needing a center for a very long time. That's like the most important position on the line, and he might get pushed around in the beginning of the year. He has to get used to the strength of the NFL. But I think once he gets used to that, maybe around the second half of the season, we might be seeing what we drafted early on. But he's the one that I have my eye on these first few games to see how it goes for.
Yeah, real quick, I want to give a shout out to Corey Lee. He said Neal didn't have a bad year because he had issues with pass block. He did very well in run block. Yes, you're absolutely right. When I say he had a bad year, I did mean pass blocking. Like he wasn't a very good pass blocker, but run blocking, yes, he was a mauler. He actually did what he was supposed to do. That's good looking out, Corey.
Corey Lee knows something other than RJ Barrett. No, I'm kidding. Corey Lee, what's up? Appreciate you. Just playing with Corey Lee.
Yeah, that's my guy. Salute to Corey.
Salute to Corey.
Freezy, what's good, bro? You back?
Yeah, man. I had to use this barf bag over here. I was looking at y'all roster.
Oh,
I was looking at y'all roster and I saw the alphabet soup up there. Why is Kayvon Thibodeau listed as a linebacker? Ain't he a pass rusher?
Yeah, outside linebacker, yeah. We run a 3-4. So he's technically an outside linebacker. Yeah, you're right. Technically. But yeah, salute to Almighty Finesse. He said we going 11-6. He went straight to the record.
11-6. Yeah.
11-6. We'll go over the schedule later. We was going to do predictions later on. So if we want to move, any other questions about the O-line? But yeah, we just a quick synopsis on the O-line real quick again. Yeah, our guards are probably going to be our weakness.
And center.
Our center is a weakness because he's a rookie, but I think he's going to be good though.
Okay.
To be honest, but our guards, our guards can definitely use an upgrade. Hopefully, they actually redid Daniel Jones' contract already.
They did.
Yep, and we got about $7 million. I think it was between $6 and $8 million left on the cap. So you never know. We can get somebody off the street, or hey, like depending on how
trade for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers wide receiver.
Thought about that also. Yep, Mike Evans. I thought about that too. But if not Mike Evans, we need to get somebody to shore up our offensive line. The only thing is offensive linemen are even harder to find than wide receivers. At least good ones. At least good ones. So in order for somebody to be a starting caliber offensive guard in the NFL, we're not just gonna find on the street like that. Except for if maybe I think Justin Pugh is still out there.
Really?
Yeah, like he the only reason he wasn't in the NFL last year is because he had an injury. He rehabbed all last year, I think. Okay. So now I think he's back. He doesn't have a team. They had an interview with him a few weeks back saying that he would love to come back to the Giants. You know, we drafted him, but you know, where there's smoke is usually fire. So we'll see. I think it depends on if anybody break down in the offensive line. That's part of the reason why maybe they redid Daniel Jones' contract to maybe bring somebody like that in. But Eddie could be right too. Like it could be to trade in the middle of the year, depending on what our record is. If they think Mike Evans can push us over the top, then we'll see.
Yeah. Adair Hodgins and Darius Slayton are going to be the ones that define that. If we need to go and get somebody like that, if those guys move the chains, possession receivers, then we don't need a Mike Evans.
Right.
But if they don't do their job, I mean, because we have barn burners, we have a slot receiver, Wandell, when he comes back, and we're going to need somebody to stretch the field and big play guy.
Right. Completely agree.
Y'all don't have Eric Flowers no more?
No.
Eric Flowers.
Ugh.
Yeah.
He went to Washington. Is he still in the league?
I don't believe so. And he changed the guard too. He ain't even a tackle anymore.
Yeah. Y'all need a guard though, right? That's what I was.
Not that one.
Nah, come on, please.
Not him.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. You just said get somebody off the street.
Not him. Somebody else.
Somebody else.
So y'all just don't like him then?
No.
Okay. He wasn't good.
Nah, I don't like him. Hate him actually. I'm just playing. I don't hate Eric Flowers, man. He ain't been on the team for a minute, but yeah, I don't want Eric Flowers back. Moving on to the linebackers real quick. Cam Brown and Coughlin, they're pretty much special team guys. Micah McFadden was going to be our starting linebacker next to Bobby Okereke. He actually still might, even though we got Isaiah Simmons. We'll talk about Isaiah Simmons a little later. Let me just get off Micah McFadden. He was a rookie last year. He was one of those pass rushers turned inside linebackers coming out of college, out of Indiana. So, like you said before, Steph, how Wink likes to use his defense. He likes positionless defense. So even though Micah McFadden technically is an inside linebacker, so is Isaiah Simmons. They could be rushing from the outside, or they could be pretty much pass rushers, period. And Kayvon Thibodeau cannot rush the passer and drop back. But Micah McFadden was supposed to be slotted as our second inside linebacker, but that was before we got Isaiah Simmons.
You think he's gonna start?
Isaiah Simmons,
Yes.
you never know.
He, j- well, they did get him in that some snaps in that preseason game, and he just got there.
Already. And the one pass rush that he had, he actually got to Aaron Rodgers. He just didn't sack him.
Yeah.
Can I say something about Isaiah Simmons?
Absolutely.
Listen, Isaiah Simmons, the most talented player, physically gifted player
Mhm.
on your defense. Period. If you talk about physical gifts, you don't become a top 10, top 12 pick without. Now his thing is in Arizona, with him being a tweener, they think they confuse tweener and scheme flexibility, right? And those are two different things, right?
Right.
And scheme flexibility, it means you can play at a variety of different positions. When you're a tweener, at I think he like what 6'4", about 240, 6'4", like 235,
Correct.
right? And so he's built more like a Cam Chancellor. If people remember,
Mhm.
Cam Chancellor used to play safety for the Seahawks.
Right.
The only thing is, with them having so many holes on defense and injuries, clearly Arizona was tanking and didn't want to pay this man, right?
Exactly. Yep.
That's the only reason why that man is available. Just because you got him for a cheap price doesn't mean this dude is not talented. And when I think about him, what I think about, if Giants fans remember when the Giants got a dude out of the University of Miami named John Beeson. Anybody remember John Beeson?
Inside linebacker.
Yeah. So what happened was, at the time, Carolina's turning over, and John Beeson was just available,
Mhm.
right? What I'll say to everybody is I know Kayvon Thibodeau is a really physically gifted pass rusher. He got some stuff that he got to figure out, like most young players,
Mhm.
right? So I'm not slighting him. No young player comes into the NFL perfect unless you like Randy Moss or Saquon Barkley or somebody like that, right?
Right.
But with Isaiah Simmons, if you have a defensive coordinator that likes defensive flexibility, and guys with multiple, because the one thing about Isaiah Simmons is he is flat out fast,
Mhm.
right? He's got safety speed at linebacker, right? And he's
Corner.
yeah, he even played corner at Clemson at times,
Yep.
right?
And for
And-
Arizona, like they did him kind of dirty, like
Yeah.
you said, with all the positions that they had him at. Like they didn't know how to use him.
They didn't know how to use them. And then plus two, when you think about Arizona, it's not like you should judge the football acumen of the Arizona Cardinals, right?
Right.
Right. Instead of using that man like Micah Parsons, they put that man at place like free safety in corner and things of
Right.
that sort. So if you're a Giants fan, right, and you just think you got a dude on the cheap and he's a cheap player, you got to relax.
We already know about Isaiah Simmons, though. I mean, I don't think there's any Giant fans out there thinking that, because we got him for a 7th round pick, he's not a good player. I mean,
I would hope not.
I heard the question being asked if he was going to start.
Well, only because he missed most of training camp. That was the issue, not necessarily about his
he missed Giants training camp.
The Giants training. No, I understand, but in terms of our schemes and what we're trying to do, I wanted Isaiah Simmons in the draft.
Right.
So I'm definitely familiar with him. But no, that question was just more about when he came to the Giants. That's
okay. I was lost there. I was wondering.
No.
Yeah, like because I heard it as is Isaiah Simmons a starter?
No,
that's the way I heard it.
No.
The only thing you have to worry about Isaiah Simmons is where Wink is going to play him at. Like right. It almost doesn't matter if he starts. Let's just say that. It's all about positionless football and where they have him on third down for the most part, because he probably will be rushing the passer.
Who's better?
Right.
What linebacker? What stand-up linebacker is better than him that y'all have?
Bobby inside or outside?
He's a inside linebacker. I would say that
a good tackler.
I would say that he's a better linebacker than Isaiah Simmons, but is he a better football player is a completely different story. Like you said, you can line You don't have to line Isaiah Simmons at linebacker. You can put him at strong safety. You can put him at free safety if you wanted to. I would not. I would not have him at the slot corner like Arizona had him last year. I think that was crazy. But
Yeah.
physically, he can do all that stuff. So would I say he's a better football player than Bobby Okereke? Yeah, but a better linebacker. Bobby Okereke been playing linebacker since he was 8 years old.
He's a cleanup linebacker.
Right, exactly.
Bobby
Like
O is a cleanup linebacker.
right.
You know.
He's going to lead the team in tackles. Let's just
Right.
say that.
But here's the thing I want to ask y'all. So what is your third down or multiple wide receiver sets defense looks like? Does that look like 3 down linemen, 2 linebackers, and a bunch of DBs? Or are you having 4 down linemen, 2 linebackers, and basic nickel?
It would be basic nickel. I think personally it would be basic nickel.
Okay.
The only thing that I don't like about that part is that we didn't get to the DBs yet, but we're going to start 2 rookies on the outside.
Right.
And we're going to move Adoree Jackson, even though it depends on who's on the field. He can be an outside corner because he naturally is an outside corner, even though he's short. But he will start in the slot because, like I said earlier, Steph, a lot of wide receivers, the number 1 wide receiver, start in the slot, just like CeeDee Lamb does for Dallas.
Right.
So in week 1 at least, we're going to start 2 outside corners rookies, which is Trey Hawkins and Deontay Banks, and then we're going to put Adoree Jackson in the slot to cover CeeDee Lamb. At least that's what I would guess.
Right.
But yeah, to answer your question, Preezy, it would the linemen like on third down would be Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams, and I would guess maybe Ashawn Robinson on the end because he's not going to be the nose tackle. Dexter Lawrence is, but it would be a natural 3-4. My only thing is that I don't know that Wink is going to do is where is he going to put Isaiah Simmons if they're going to already have Kayvon Thibodeau and Azeez Ojulari on the same, on that same defense. Like all 3 of them aren't going to rush the passer at the same time all the time. One of them are going to have to drop back.
I'm asking. The reason why I was asking is because if you guys go to 3-3-5, where it's 3 linemen and 3 of these
like hybrid linebackers.
In high school we used to call them jokers or spur type,
right?
Safety / linebacker / corner type guys. Then I can see, I can see those guys being in some type of package where you have a front of 6 guys and you don't know who's coming unless you walk somebody out of the box. You know what I'm saying? And then that way, the offense can tell who's coming and who's not. But at the same time, when you got Ike Simmons, man, it gives you,
multiple options.
Right.
Multiple options.
I can see on third.
That's the beautiful part of these players that we have on with this coach is it's an amoeba defense. It doesn't have to look the same every play. We can do this, and it depends on who we're playing, obviously, right? So, I mean, these guys are great to have. The Isaiah Simmons, the Kevin Thibodeau. These guys are good players to have on your team because you can do so many things on defense.
Right.
But my thing is with Isaiah Simmons. Think about Freezy's question. They could actually, on third down, knowing Wink with the positionless defense that he runs, they can have him as strong safety and he can still blitz. Like he doesn't even have to be a linebacker at that point. So your 3 linebackers can still be Bobby Okereke. You can still put Micah McFadden in and still have Kayvon, Azeez Ojulari, and Isaiah Simmons on the field all at the same time. And depending on what Wink is going to do, all of them aren't going to blitz and all of them obviously aren't going to cover. So you don't know where the pressure is going to come from.
Right.
That's a good thing about his defense.
Right. What are you guys going to do with Bobby McCain? I thought he was a decent DB. Is he like the 5th DB in y'all group since y'all have 2 rookies?
Like, I guess it depends on where they put him because he's one of those tweeners that could play safety and cornerback, especially in the slot. So I think he'll just be one of our backup safeties. And pretty much special teams also. At least I think he plays special teams. He's going to have to, I think. So it's going to be between like the backup safeties is really between him and another rookie, Javarius Owens. And Nick McLeod is kind of a tweener too. He could play corner and safety. That's the only thing about our DBs. We didn't get to that group yet, but they're either young, inexperienced, or a lot of them are tweeners also when it comes to the position they could play. Like Xavier McKinney, he could play strong safety or free safety.
Oh, free safety, yeah.
Like anybody could pretty much play anywhere except for maybe Donnie Holmes. I would think that he's preferably in the slot only, but they had Cordell Flott in the on the outside and the inside. They had Dane Belton at free and strong safety. When it comes to Wink Martindale, all of these dudes can play anywhere. Like I think they do that on purpose. I think that like the players that they picked them for a reason. Like a lot of them are very interchangeable. Like Trey Hawkins is going to be our rookie outside corner. He's 6'3", 220 pounds. Like he could play free safety if they really wanted to. Like a lot of them are interchangeable.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the only player we didn't really talk about on our linebacker was Jahad Ward, but he's going to be like a backup outside rusher. He pretty much is the old man of the group, and he's going to be like a leader of that position group. That's why you keep him around. He's not going to produce that much. Think of somebody like Udonis Haslam on the bench.
Wow.
Like I don't see him doing much, but like last year he put Kayvon Thibodeau under his wing. He was like his mentor in the linebacker group. So he would continue to be that type of leader, but you're not going to see him on the field that much. He's a backup linebacker. Moving on to the defensive line. Oh, salute to Corey. Corey Lee said drop the link. Hold on, I gotta see if I can.
Oh boy, it's about to be beef, bro. It's about to be beef. Y'all know who I'm pulling for week 1. So I'm telling you, if Lee show up, bro, it's about to be.
Well, let me get
I can jump off if you need the space, man. And
I can drop off if you need the space.
No, it's all good. It's all good. We can get through the position. I don't know if I'm gonna let anybody on real quick, but Corey,
yeah, if you need some space, you know what I'm saying? I'm staying because I want to talk about the Cowboys. You know me.
let's just say this. Corey, if you
he on the scouting team.
Yeah, if I don't get you on tonight, on Sundays, I do watch-alongs every game. So at halftime, I do the same thing. Salute to Eru, diehard Eru, my diehard brother. He does halftime to crunch time. We pretty much do the same thing here. Like at halftime, I come on, do the quick halftime report, but then I actually stay on for the rest of the game. Like I stay on from halftime to the fourth quarter and then go over like the stats real quick after the game is over, then we out. Right. So you could definitely hop on then. Steph is usually here. Eru be on here sometimes. My man Andy, all the way from Poland, was in on us with a couple games last year. It was like the first football game he watched in like a decade, he said. So that was dope. But yeah, I have watch-alongs every game. So I'll be back Sunday night. Our game I think starts at 8:30. And so I'll be on probably right 9:30. Whenever halftime starts, diehard Giants will be on. So the defensive line, real quick, we already know Dexter Lawrence, Sexy Dexy, just signed that big contract, one of the best, if not the best, nose tackle in the league. Probably between him and like a few other people.
What?
Yeah. Him, Quentin Williams. I'm just talking about nose tackle, not just strictly defensive tackle, like somebody just right over center.
Okay.
I will honestly say that Dexter Lawrence probably is the best in the league. I would put between him and Quentin Williams for the Jets. Like both of them are awesome. They're like number 1 and 2. You could argue each one, but both of them have an argument just for being on the nose. Because I don't want to talk about Aaron Donald.
Chris Jones?
You can definitely argue Chris Jones, but I don't think he's a no. They run a 4-3 over there, so he played the 3 technique. He played nose. He played everywhere. So yes, you could definitely put him on that list if you wanted to. They all have an argument because Chris Jones is a bad boy over there. That they need to pay him, which I think they will, because I don't think they can survive without him.
Y'all need to pay Saquon and stop playing. But anyway, I feel you.
We already had that Saquon conversation. We are not paying Saquon unless he got to do something. But we're not going to give him Christian McCaffrey money. That's not happening.
Yeah. I see y'all backups look fantastic. Don't pay Saquon. Y'all can let y'all backups. Y'all backups look excellent, man.
Hey, Freezy, man.
No, for real, man. I like Matt Breida.
On a serious note, that topic about the running back situation in the NFL is something that really should be talked about. Not just for Saquon, but they have to do something about that position, man, because it's unbelievable. I was even looking at the San Francisco Giants payroll, and even McCaffrey's not getting paid. Obviously he got guaranteed money.
You said San Francisco Giants.
He did call it. Like he's
stop trying to do that to me, Breezy. Stop trying to do that to me, yo.
You know what he meant,
You be making me laugh, bro. Come on. I love it, bro. I love it.
What he meant.
But yeah, the San Francisco 49ers, my bad. And everybody else was paid higher than him. So, this is just a conversation that needs to be had, and NFL has to try to help out these players in those positions, because I understand the other part of the argument about the injuries, how much they don't last. I understand completely about that, but there has to be something made for when they are healthy enough, when they are in their 25s and 26-year-olds, that they can get some money. You know what I'm saying? Stop, because right now they're coming into the league at 22, 23 years old, and they're staying under these contracts until they're about 28. And when they're 28, nobody wants them no more.
Right.
So, I just think that, there's something that the NFL can try to better their situation, because that's an important position for the game. And I just don't like the way it's I don't like the I don't like the way it's just weird. I don't like it.
It's collusion after what they did to Le'Veon Bell. Y'all remember Le'Veon Bell?
Yeah.
The Le'Veon Bell thing. I think the owners are colluding after the Le'Veon Bell thing, bro. And it's obvious. This case closed on that. They're trying to send a message to a position group. That's all.
Only thing, much as I would, I completely agree with what Eddie was talking about. Only thing when it comes to the NFL, I don't know what they'll be able to do, to be honest.
Well, I was listening to O.J. Simpson talk about it the other day. I don't know if you guys heard about what O.J. Simpson said about the run. Obviously, he's going to have the running backs back, right?
Right. Well, I didn't hear what he said, though.
He said that to take the franchise tag away from the running back position. That way that you can't franchise them, because you're getting a 4-year deal when you're coming out of college when you're 22, 23 years old. So if you're 23 years old, you're getting a 4-year deal. That's until you're 27 years old. So what these teams are doing is they're franchising you the next year, and then they're franchising you the year after that. Right. So now you're 28, 29 years old, and you're ready to get paid, and nobody's paying you at that age.
So
you know what I'm saying?
They got to come with that at the next collective bargaining agreement.
That's the problem.
That's the only thing. That's the bargaining agreement. Right.
I mean, Austin Eckler has to have another phenomenal year. If he doesn't have another phenomenal year in him, he's 27 years old. He's going to be 28 years old. I think he's 28 right now. Right. If he doesn't have another phenomenal year this year, let's say he gets banged up, mere injury, ankle sprain. He's out 3 games, right? A bad ankle sprain can get you out for 3 weeks. Right. Okay, and that's not a career-ending injury. It's a regular type injury. But let's say he's out for 3 weeks. Then it takes him another week to get up to speed. So that's a month of football that he's out. He wants to get paid X amount of money. Chargers ain't gonna pay him that money.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
So, that's what they're going up against. And Saquon is only 20. How old is Saquon? 20, 26?
Something like that. It has to be like 26, 27.
He's on the younger side of this, and he's still got franchised this year. He's 26 now. He's going to get franchised next year.
Yep. Because
if they didn't pay him this year, what makes you think they're going to pay him next year?
Right. From a team perspective, you're absolutely right. Like like the GMs can just. I think Joe Shane is just going to franchise him again, and Saquon can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Right? He's either going to lose out on what he's getting now. He's getting 11 million now.
Yeah,
So they franchise him. He gets like another million.
right.
So it'll be 12 million. So you're either gonna take the 12 million, or you're not gonna take the 12 million and sit out, which is what Le'Veon Bell did, and he missed out on the most amount of money that he could have had in his NFL career because he never got that money back.
Right.
Right.
And that's what he was. The other day he was also talking about that situation that he thinks that he made a mistake when it came to that situation. He should have came and played football. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to get the bag. He didn't get the bag. He sat out. He didn't get paid. That's $10 million or $9 million that he did not see. In the NFL, every year counts. You cannot miss a year in the NFL, and every cent counts.
Yeah.
It's to the point.
This is not baseball. This is not basketball. This ain't them type of sports, man. NFL is a different animal.
I would go as far as to say like say if you had a kid playing football, I don't know. I don't think I'd let my son play running back. Like the all the pain that they go through, all the hits that they go through, I don't think it's worth it.
Yep.
In the long
And
run.
the thing is that if you're a freak athlete, when you're a young kid, when you're 10, 11, you're playing in these little pee-wee football leagues, you're playing running back.
Yep. Either playing
They put you at running back.
Yep, running back or quarterback,
Or
and you'll
quarterback.
just be another running quarterback.
Yeah.
Either or. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. The irony is where we used to think the money was tied up in left tackles, quarterbacks, and edge rushers. I think the money is slowly being siphoned away from them and being paid to these corners. Some of these guys are like 6'2",
Right.
6'3", fluid, elite level athletes that could have been playing center field for the Yankees are now playing corner for the Giants. You
Right.
know, and so now they're
You know
getting
why
the
that
bag,
is
so to
though?
speak.
Because the corners have to match the wide receivers.
Yep.
And since it's a passing league, if you're going to pay your
Right.
wide receivers that much on the outside, so if I'm the agent of a cornerback, yes, the cornerback has to match. Well, maybe not match. It doesn't have like be dollar for dollar, but if you're going to up the salaries of wide receivers, if I'm a cornerback, I better be up too.
Right.
Right.
It's the same thing.
Yeah. If I'm stopping Justin Jefferson, if I'm stopping, Jamar Chase, I gotta get paid.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Sauce Gardner for the Jets, sooner or later he's going to be if he continues, obviously, he's going to be the highest paid cornerback in the league.
He's such a great. I love that guy, man.
He's ridiculous.
That guy to me is like the best football player in the NFL, man.
I actually wanted him in the draft, but they picked him right before we picked Kayvon Thibodeau. I'm still happy with Kayvon Thibodeau, but my target in the draft was Sauce Gardner. Like I wanted him at 5. But I kind of knew
it's not like the Giants didn't have a need.
Right.
They always have a need though, bro. That's why when you pick in early in the draft, bro. and I say that
yeah. That's not even a troll. That's
yeah.
Nah,
I'm saying that as a Bears fan, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, I'm saying that as there's a fan of a team that's probably going to be in the top 5 twice next year without picking Carolina's pick.
Nah, y'all not that bad this year. Y'all gonna be better than y'all were last year.
Oh, we're gonna beat the Giants, but I'm saying we probably, Oh, we don't play y'all this year, right? We just got y'all heart and something. So but
well, let's move
on.
Let's move on. But just real quick with the defensive line, because that's where we stopped at. Raheem Nunez, Roches, Nacho for short, and Jordan Riley and Ashawn Robinson, they were brought in. Jordan Riley is a
rookie
draft pick, but it's really for depth. And our Achilles heel, our offense was our offensive line. On defense, our running defense was terrible because we didn't have good linebackers last year. And Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams, when they were off the field, we got ran on. Like our backups weren't that good. That's why most of them aren't on the team anymore. Like our defensive linemen what 1, 2. The only people that's really came back was Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams. DJ Davison, he was hurt most of last year. He's one of those draft picks that was hurt most of last year. He didn't get any playing time. So we pretty much got an all new defensive line group besides the two starters that we had. All of them were brought in for run stopping. None of them are pass rushers really, except for
May I ask you a question about this?
Sure.
All right. And I'm asking this from a pure football perspective. I'm not trolling anybody. And so if somebody's offended by what I have to say, I'm just gonna say go buy a goldfish or something. Right?
Okay.
Every defensive scheme is gonna have a weak point in it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Every defensive scheme, no matter how great your personnel is, a scheme is gonna have a hole in it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Even the 3-4 defense, in my opinion, is excellent against the deep pass because you always have 7 people at the line of scrimmage that can come.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But the 3-4 defense, in my opinion, also provides this thing where in a run game you don't always keep your linebackers clean.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so it may lend itself to a shaky run defense,
Mm-hmm.
right? The cure-all for that is if you have 2 safeties that are thumpers,
Right.
So what I'm asking you is, are the Giants going to put a tandem of safeties on the field that can fly around inside the box to clean up some of those tackles with the mindset, right, that if you start 2 corners, you can't have both safeties in the box. 2 rookie corners, right? Because you need your safeties to communicate coverage and kind of be the safety valve until the rookie corners get up to speed. Because nobody expects them to be great day one, right?
Well, to answer that question, we at least have one of them.
Okay.
Which is Xavier McKinney. He was a green dot dude last year, meaning he called the plays on defense last year. It wasn't any of our running backs. It was our starting free safety. He was the signal caller on defense. So he actually can, and he's a good leader back there with the rookies back there. I'm pretty sure he's navigating them a lot. Right. But to your credit, like our starting strong safety would probably be Jason Pinnock. And he's a little inexperienced. This is his first time.
He's a special teamer, right?
He was
a special teamer.
He was a special teamer, and he used to play for the Jets. We got him after they released him last year, but he's played his way. He actually had a good preseason. He had a good camp, so I believe he's going to be our starting strong safety. So I'm not. He's still a question mark because this is his first year starting. But to answer your question, for now, it's just Xavier McKinney and Jason Pinnock is a question mark. Everybody else. In the safety position will probably be question marks also until I see further because Dane Belton, he was a good rookie last year. He showed flashes, but he's still a question mark. He hasn't been a starter yet either.
Okay.
So Xavier McKinney is probably the only surefire safety that we can count on every week.
So the run game thing may still be a problem this year, but at least the Giants know that it's an issue.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Because you can tell by the way we revamped the defense because Bobby Okereke was brought in here. Like I said, 3 new defensive linemen, and they're all run stoppers were brought in here. None of them are pass rushers. So they saw the weakness, and with the additions that we had on the field, that you could tell that it was a problem last year. Like we was the worst run defenses in the league last year.
Yeah, and that's not y'all MO.
Right.
Generally, y'all MO is hold the running game in check. Guys that generally don't run against the Giants. That's what the Giants generally been holding their hat on, especially since they're an element team. Right. That when it gets cold and all that stuff, you don't want teams, focusing on running the football. down the Giants' throat.
And
So
to your point that you said earlier about the 3-4 against the run, like you said, traditionally we are a strong run defensive team because traditionally we were a 4-3,
right.
and we switched up a few years ago, right before Wink came, when we had Patrick Graham. We switched up to the 3-4.
Okay.
So yeah, I can see what you're saying about
And it's no knock on the Giants. It's just a 3-4 scheme in general.
yeah, in general, everybody has that problem because
Yeah.
you have less defensive linemen on the
Right.
field.
To keep linebackers clean. And you got big linebackers trying to fight off linemen who get to that next level. And if they can't do it, then now you got running backs on safeties or running backs on DBs. So
Right. So going with the defensive backs, we already mentioned them. The two rookies that will be starting is Deontay Banks, who was our first round pick, and a surprising pick, Trey Hawkins, rookie out of Old Dominion. He was our 6th round pick, but he had a pretty good camp, and he has leapfrogged a lot of people and will be the starting outside cornerback for the New York Giants week 1, which is a complete shock. That usually doesn't happen, especially picking that late in the rounds. But he came
and
along
from a small school too.
Yep, Old Dominion. Like the only player we had, one player in Old Dominion from Old Dominion, O'Shane Zimenez. He just got he just got cut this couple weeks ago though, but I think he still is on our practice squad. So we do have some representation from that school, but yeah, it's really slim. They don't have that many NFL players, I should say. Yeah, but for the weakness on the defense, it probably will. You would think of it as the corners because they're rookies. Like you really can't say much about them because you don't know. They're question marks. They could be a plus or they could be a minus. You don't even know yet. Like I would guess minus just because they're rookies, and rookie corners usually don't play well in the NFL. Like Sauce Gardner was an outlier. That's not the norm. Like Sauce Gardner is special.
okay.
Like there's no other Sauce Gardners out there. Maybe Patrick Surtain Jr. from Denver. He's the young corner that came into the league out of Alabama.
Oh, PS2, yeah. Oh,
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like he a legacy dude. Like his dad was a Pro Bowl corner, so he been learning that position ever since he was a baby. So I don't count.
You like J.C. Horn?
Another legacy dude, but his dad was a wide receiver. But yeah, he's pretty good. He's really physical corner out of Carolina. I like him too.
Yeah.
But Sauce Gardner, yeah, that's special. You're not gonna ain't no more of them.
You mind if I ask you a question about Trey Hawkins?
Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna have to go. I was hoping we could get through. I could at least get through the roster, but
The roster real quick. Well,
yeah, but I'm a have.
Now I'll go. I ain't gonna hold y'all up, man.
No. You don't have to. You don't have to go. Yeah, no, you don't have to go. I have to go. You don't have to go. I have to go.
well, thanks for joining me. I'm gonna be on halftime during the game, so
I'll be
feel
on.
free.
I'll
You
be
feel
on.
free. I'll give you the
Yeah.
link. I see you again.
Yeah,
Hey, Queen B,
definitely.
how about
I
them
appreciate you.
Cowboys?
Stop.
Nah, how about
about
them
them Cowboys?
Giants? How about them Giants? Okay.
All
How
right,
about
Steph,
them
you have a good
Giants?
night. Don't let Freezy put that rock in your shoe.
Okay.
Yeah,
Got
5 and
2
12.
count blisters
5
from
and
this
12.
morning. All right. Appreciate y'all.
All right,
All right,
Steph.
Eddie C. All right, bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Bye.
All right, Freezy, what was your question about Trey Hawkins real quick?
Oh, so my question about Trey Hawkins is this: what would make is it because the thing about a Trey Hawkins type player is there are a bunch of red flags, not against him,
Mhm.
but the archetype. For one, 6'3" corners that are fluid coverage guys are rare.
Right.
Generally, 6'3" guys are more zone guys like Richard Sherman. Like you get them in that cover 3, they play that cover 3. You give them a certain spot on the field, and they excel at it, right? Like you remember Carnell Lake?
Yes. 37 for the Steelers.
Yeah, like the Carnell Lake type dudes. Like you got an elite corner on one side and Rod Woodson, and then the other corner, and I think they moved him back to safety, right? But
Yep.
either way, he could play both, right?
Right.
But guys like Trey Hawkins, big, tall corner, right? From a small school.
Mhm.
And when I saw a thing, I don't know if he had elite speed.
Yeah.
So my thing is, I didn't. Does he have elite speed, or is he just a fast guy?
Elite speed for like high 4.3s.
Okay, okay, okay,
Like when it comes to athleticism, we we actually picked two of the most athletic corners in the draft.
okay, okay.
The only thing, like you said, with Trey Hawkins being that tall, yes, he is a tall corner. It's about inexperience for him.
Right.
Like the physical stuff between him and Banks. Deontay Banks was the most physically gifted.
That's the cat from Maryland, right?
Yeah, he was the most athletic corner in the draft this year.
All
And
right.
Trey Hawkins is one of those like top five when it comes to athleticism. You know, clock times and how high they can jump and all that.
Shuttles and
Yeah,
all that. Yeah.
exactly like that. Like they were graded two of the highest corners in the draft, and Deontay Banks was graded one of the most athletic corners in the past 10 years.
Right.
But when it comes to both of them, they are man press corners. Uh, Yeah, with Trey Hawkins, like it remains to be seen. You're absolutely right when it comes to the size and stuff, and especially when it comes to shifty wide receivers. But so far, he's been able to do it. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it throughout the season because he is a rookie. That's why I say it's a question mark. But yeah, you're right. Usually, tall corners don't pan out in the league, especially this early. Like it's really shocking that he's going to start week one.
Right. And so the reason why I was asking the question is because you generally don't invest that much in a rookie from day one unless you think he has elite upside.
Right.
And if the Giants feel like he has elite upside, that may be the reason why they're starting him week one. Because generally, those taller guys from small schools with a lack of experience, generally you bring them in like they start as the fourth corner, and then maybe by year two you see them starting at the third corner or the second corner. You kind of work them into a system.
Right.
But if the Giants are starting this cat day one, I think they may have high hopes for him. I think they may feel like they have a diamond in the rough.
I think they do too. But one thing I will say though, when it comes to week one, since we played Dallas and CD Lamb lines up primarily in the slot, that could be one of the main reasons that he's a rookie starting on the outside. Because we can have Adoree Jackson play the slot and play CD Lamb. But at least that's my guess. Like Adoree Jackson is going to be our starting slot corner, mainly because of who we play week one. Like we play the Cardinals week two.
Get a week off, basically.
Yeah, he would probably either, I don't know, he would either be the starter on the outside and Trey Hawkins will sit down, or he won't play as much as he played in Dallas because he's going to have to chase CD Lamb around all game. Because I would not put Trey Hawkins on CD Lamb. I don't care where you line up at.
Right.
Like, will kill him. So I don't see that at all. But I'm not saying that Trey Hawkins is like you. I do agree with you. I think they do have a diamond in the rough, but part of that starting on the outside week one is because they're moving Adoree Jackson to the slot week one. And when we play Arizona, I don't think Hollywood Brown lines up everywhere too, but not.
It don't matter. They starting a backup quarterback, so it don't.
Right, it don't matter. And then week three, we play like who we play week three in like the 49ers or something. So the slot was like Debo Samuel.
I think it is the Niners.
And Brandon Ayuk is one of the best route runners,
right,
in the game too. But I was mentioning that about Trey Hawkins because Deontay Banks, we feel like, what I'm saying, is a high draft pick, can hold his own.
Mm-hmm.
But by starting Trey Hawkins, it gives me the sensations that they might think Trey Hawkins may be just as good or better than Banks. They may feel like they have their tandem of the future, and instead of milking it, bringing them along,
mm-hmm.
they put them out there to get battle tested early because they feel like once they get their lumps, they'll be able to come through late.
Right. And I think part of that is that we're going to probably be the most blitzingest team in the NFL.
Okay.
And because of that, like you can stick two athletic man press corners on the outside and tells them to just cover one dude.
Who does he remind
Right.
you of as a corner?
Trey Hawkins.
I'm sorry, Eddie C. Never mind. I'm gonna retract that question because Eddie C. had something you want to say.
No. I was listening to you guys. Don't worry about it.
Who Trey Hawkins remind me of?
Yes, sir. Yep.
I don't know. That's kind of hard. You did mention Richard Sherman. I'm thinking because of his height. Like you got to be 6'2" or somebody tall. So it would have to be. I don't see it's all outliers. Tall corners aren't usually that good, but when you are good and tall, you're special. Like Richard Sherman, Sauce Gardner.
Is he in that Champ Bailey mode? Remember
No.
Champ Bailey?
Yeah, I remember Champ. No, like Champ Bailey is a Hall of Famer.
No. I'm talking about archetype. I'm not talking about skill.
Archetype.
Yeah.
Nah, Champ Bailey is even more athletic than him. Like,
but I thought so.
Champ was special. He was playing wide receiver and shit in Georgia. Like,
right.
So maybe not him, but I can see what you mean. Just because of the athleticism, it would have to be somebody uber athletic and
like a Rod Woodson archetype corner.
Right. It would have to be somebody like that. Somebody tall and really, really athletic, like Sauce Gardner, but he obviously doesn't have the same, instincts as Sauce Gardner. Like he's special.
Okay.
But from an athletic standpoint, then yeah, all those names that as long as you tall, athletic, and can cover.
Tall, athletic, long-armed corners.
Right. But Richard Sherman, I think Richard Sherman could be a good comp because he wasn't a high draft pick either. I think he was
okay.
He was picking like third round, I think. He wasn't first round.
Fifth round?
I forgot. But I know he wasn't the first.
Because Russell Wilson was their third round pick that year, right?
They got drafted in the same year?
I thought so.
Russell,
and maybe I'm wrong, man. The draft has so many rounds. I may be wrong.
If you are right, that Russell Wilson was definitely picking the third. So Richard Sherman might have been picked in the fifth. You might be right.
Okay.
You might be right. So now that I got through the DBs, I mean, we don't really have to talk about special teams. So we'll go through the schedule real quick. Oh,
actually, I did want to just mention that.
Okay.
I think super highly of Gano this year. I think he might rival the Justin Tuckers of the world this year, man. You've been seeing how he's been booting these balls from 50 yards, and the Giants do have a propensity to be conservative.
Graham Gano.
Sorry?
Oh, Graham Gano. Okay.
The kicker, yeah.
They do have a propensity to be conservative and kick the field goal, So, I think he might be able to score a lot of points for us. It's going to be a very important part of our team. I wouldn't be surprised if we win a game on 4 field goals.
Okay. I can see that. Yeah, but Graham Gano, I think he's going to have a good year too. You're right. Yep.
Yeah. And
last time
Sherman was a 5th round pick, by the way.
5th?
2011.
Got you. Yep. That sounds right. Yeah. Usually it's 53-man roster. This is only 52 because the last day before cuts, the Giants made a trade for Boogie Basham, who is kind of like, I wouldn't call him a pass rusher, but he's an edge rusher, defensive end, outside linebacker hybrid. Out of Buffalo. I think they got him in the 2nd round. Joe Shane was one of the people that was had a hand in bringing him to Buffalo. So I think instead of them cutting him and him going on waivers, like Joe Shane pretty much just called his buddies in Buffalo and said, "Give me Boogie if you're just gonna release him, and we'll give you a 5th round. I mean, we'll give you a 6th round pick, and you just give us a 7th, and we get Boogie Basham." So he'll be in the rotation. He's not going to start at anything, but he'll just be a rotation piece on the line.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't he undersized?
No, he's big.
He's actually,
okay.
He's actually a big boy.
He's big. Like I would almost not call him, even though he's listed as a hybrid. He almost like a traditional size 4'3" defensive end. Like he's pretty big. He's like 265, 270.
I saw something where I think he was like 6'2", 255 or so. I don't know. I'm wrong.
I don't think you're wrong. I think that might have been his measurables coming out of college.
Oh, okay.
But he gained a little bit of weight,
that's the problem is that he's overweight. He needs to lose some of that weight.
And I think that might have been part of the reason why, he was brought in as a pass rusher, But like I think he gained weight, like you said, and I think they was gonna let him go. And instead of getting because on the waiver wire, we were so bad last year in the waiver wire, we picked like fifth in the waiver wire, right? But this year, I think we either 25th or 26th, so we wouldn't have got him. Or just like we got Isaiah Simmons from Arizona. If they would have cut him, we wouldn't have got Isaiah Simmons. We had to trade for him. Or we wouldn't have got him on waivers. Somebody definitely would have picked him up. Because we're not even paying him that much money. Arizona's paying most of his salary this year.
Yeah, Arizona's tanking for that quarterback, bro. The USC quarterback.
So if you look at it, so if you look at it, the Giants are being super smart and looking at these teams that are going to cut these players and say, "We'll give you, you know what I'm saying? We'll give you some peanut butter and you give me your bag of chips." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And we'll take the player off your hands and see how he works in our system instead of losing out on certain players. Obviously, likely, Isaiah Simmons was not going to be available to us if he got cut, like you said.
That is a fact, and it all actually started with Darren Waller. Remember, Darren Waller, this is his last year on his contract, so even though he's a good player, obviously, he was in danger of getting cut just because of his cap hit and his relationship with the team. Because Darren Waller was the highest paid tight end in the league.
Yeah.
So like he was in danger of getting cut just because of that. They didn't know if they was going to carry that cap hit of like $16 million for a tight end. So instead of them cutting him, we gave him a third round pick. We gave him a third and I think a third and a sixth. I forgot. But yeah,
especially with the draft being so deep at tight end this year, man. I mean, that would have been a no-brainer. If I was a GM, that would have been a no-brainer. You could have they drafted a third-round tight end, right? Or was it the third round where they got Michael Mayer from Notre Dame?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
So they just restarted the clock.
It's not even a question.
Yeah, so that made sense. But that was, like you said, that makes sense of why they got all these players on the last year of their contracts. And, you know, they'll see, they're all prove-it years. Like even Darren Waller. Like it's a prove-it year for him. This is the last year of his contract. Like he can either be a free agent or they can franchise him if they don't franchise Saquon. You know, we'll see. But if he plays well, I think they're going to have a long-term deal. But you have to worry about his injury history and his age. He's over 30, so we'll see.
Right. And like I said before, we have Bellinger already, so it's a high-risk, high-reward situation with Waller.
Exactly. This is the schedule. We obviously play Dallas first. I think it's a very tough schedule. I think we have, I don't know, it's like around the 10, 11th when it comes to strength of schedule, kind of like in the 10, 11, 12 range, I think. But it's not about the teams that we're playing when it comes to the strength. It's the way that they actually structured all of our games. If you see all of the away games and the home games, like we have a lot of away games in a short period of time when you look at it. Like we got 3 away games in a row. Well, 2 away games in a row, then back home, 2 more away games, 2 home, 3 away games, and then 2 more back-to-back. Like they're all back-to-back away games. We don't have no games that we're home one week, away the next week, and then home next week, not back and forth. So like that, when's that November 5th to the 19th, like look how many days that is in between it. They're all away games. Like that sucks for a football team. So that's when it comes to like our strength of schedule is by how they actually schedule the games. It's not the teams that we're playing, even though it's a tough schedule because we're in one of the toughest divisions because we have to play Dallas and the Eagles twice.
How about them Cowboys?
We have to play Dallas and the Eagles twice. But yeah, man, the way that they structure these games and the times that they have them is kind of crazy. It's weird. And one thing real quick, the last thing I have is it's the schedule again. I know it's kind of a little hard to read. It's a little smaller, but this is just the uniform schedule. All the home games are in blue. Obviously, all the away games are in white. My favorite uniforms, the legacy uniforms, we wear twice this year. And the white color rush we just wear against the Bills once. But yeah, that's just the a lot of people like to, if you're going to a game, you want to match what the team has, especially the home games. You'll know that the two legacy games is week 7 and 14. That's the only reason I had this up there.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people like to know what we're wearing on certain days. Some people are, schedule nerds like that.
So are we gonna have a prediction for the record?
Yeah, we can go back real quick for the record. Like we obviously have 17 games. Eddie, you want to go first?
Yeah, man, but I don't think it's gonna be. Yeah,
Not overly optimistic.
I mean, I love my team, but
Right.
I'm a realist when it comes to every single thing, man. And I got us going 8-9. See if we can get into the playoffs with that record, but I doubt it.
8-9. Jeez, man.
8 and 9. Hold on. Let me 8 and 9. Because
And to go 8-9, we have to win these first 4 games.
see, my thing, I told Steph before you guys popped on, we because somebody asked me about my boy Mike in the beginning of the show. He asked what the prediction was. I said between 8 and 11. Like if everything breaks for us, we'll be in the 10 to 11 range. But yeah, if we have injuries or the offensive line doesn't gel like they're supposed to, then yeah, I could definitely see us winning like 7 to 8 games. Like we have a tough schedule, and we're a better team. We're a better team than we were last year, but that doesn't necessarily mean we're going to have a better record. Like it's all about schedule. It's all about health. Like say if Darren Waller goes down like in week, I don't know, early in the season.
3.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. Like the 2 away games in the AFC East when it comes to the Miami and then the Bills. Like we play San Fran, the Seahawks, the Dolphins, and the Bills. Like
Well, the Seahawks don't have a pass rush though.
yeah, but the Seahawks they beat us last year though. There's one of the few teams that we actually playing.
Their receivers are going to be
ridiculous, and we're
Yeah.
starting 2 rookie corners. So with
Mhm.
Geno Smith actually having a resurgence and actually being a good quarterback last year, like there's no telling he can have like their wide receivers are some of the best tandem in the league, and then they drafted a wide receiver in the first round in JSN. So
Yeah.
it all depends. Like Geno Smith if we don't get him with the blitz, he can carve us up with
He
the
can
blitz.
pick you apart. Yeah.
He can, it's possible. And then we got Tua the week after that. And then we got Josh Allen the week after that. I think we'll sweep Washington this year, but yeah, after playing the Cowboys twice, the Eagles twice, who are probably 1 and 2 best teams in the conference, along with San Fran, we play San Fran.
Right.
So we play the toughest teams in the conference, and then our out of conference games are tough too because we play the AFC East.
Yeah, I got some layups in that all. I think the Raiders are a layup. I think the Packers are a layup. The Saints.
Arizona.
Yeah,
See,
Arizona's a layup.
See, I can disagree with the Saints a little bit because even though it's not like he's not Drew Brees, but at least they have a functional, semi good quarterback in Derek Carr. It's not like
But
Jameis.
he's not a winner though. He stats. He's Trent Green, bro.
I can
He'll
get that,
stat you to death, but he ain't going.
but
But you could flip flop. You could flip flop the Rams with the Saints if you want to, though. You know what I'm saying? I think
I can see that. But with the Saints, I wish we got the Saints early.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I would like to get Derek Carr early. Like getting Derek Carr in like week 14 or 15 and stuff where he's established as the starter. He knows what his weapons are going to be. Like I would rather, if you're going to face a quarterback like that with a new team, I would have rather got him early. Like we got
And y'all playing him indoors, which is disadvantage to y'all.
Yep.
Camaro will be playing by then and up to speed.
Yep. Like the Saints, I'm not saying that they're going to be world beaters or anything like that, but I got them winning the division, their division at least, because their division isn't good. It's going to be either them or the Falcons, and I don't really trust the Falcons, even though, they don't really have a quarterback. So until they get a quarterback, I'm not going to really trust them. They got a good, when it comes to skill positions, they're pretty good, but I don't have any trust in Desmond Ridder. So I have the Saints winning that division. So if they're going to be, if they're going to be up in their division that late into the season, yeah, they might be pretty tough.
They have a lot of weapons.
That game right there, December 17th, that might be the season for us against the Saints because their record is so porous that's the team we might be facing for the wild card. So
Right.
that right there is a game that should be circled, I think, and we need to win that game.
Right.
And then with I mentioned the Bills and the Dolphins. We still got to pay the Jets week 8, and we still got to play Bill Belichick. At least they're both home games. Well, the Jets really don't matter because we're both be home, but yeah, at least we got the Patriots at home. But going away to Miami and then Buffalo back to back, yeah, that's gonna be tough.
That part right there is harsh. That's what I'm saying. We've got to beat Dallas. We've got to beat Arizona. We've got to beat the Niners, and we've got to beat the Seahawks. I don't think we got a shot against Miami or Buffalo. You saying that we're going to sweep Washington? That's always a tough game, no matter who's playing. You know what I'm saying? That's like Pittsburgh and Cleveland, man. Then we face the Jets, the Raiders. We can beat the Raiders. Then we're back to the Cowboys, and then the Cowboys, Washington, and New England again.
Now, I was hoping when it come to Dallas, with the offseason that we had, I don't think we obviously didn't close the gap on Philly. I think Philadelphia is by far the best.
Now Philly's elite,
in the conference.
Yeah,
right? They might go to the Super Bowl again.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
I don't think we closed the gap maybe a little bit on Dallas, but I don't think we're there yet either. But I'm guessing hopefully we can get week 1, like you said. Like week 1 for me is almost not a must-win game because it's week 1. But it's very, very important when it comes to us going to the playoffs because I think we will have to at least get 1 against Dallas because I think we're going to get swept by Philly.
Right.
Yeah, I would have so much rather that home game being later on in the season than right now where it's not
right.
cold enough in New York.
Right.
But yeah, it is what it is.
Let me throw a fly in the ointment just real quick, just something to consider.
Okay.
I see a couple of trap games on the schedule,
mm-hmm.
and if the Giants stub their toe, I can see the Giants going 3-14, right? And no disrespect to the Giants, man, because listen, the other teams get paid too. You know what I'm saying? But you remember we were talking earlier about 30 minutes ago. We were talking about how the Achilles heel of a 3-4 defense is a run game.
Yeah.
I think that Oakland Raiders game might be the trap game, right? Because the Raiders have a great young running back.
We do,
and
I mean they do.
Yeah, and it's in Las Vegas, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if they get on a roll, right, and then mess around and Daniel Jones has to throw the ball in the fourth quarter to bring the Giants back against the Raiders pass rush, I think it may be an adventure. I'm not saying that the Raiders are going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Notice I'm saying it might be a trap game. You know what I'm saying? Where a team, you're like, okay, yeah. But the Raiders have this dude named Max Crosby,
mm-hmm.
and then they just drafted another dude in the first round to I forget the dude they drafted in the first round this year.
One thing, what's the name?
And it's the week before Dallas in Dallas.
You mentioned you mentioned Chandler Jones earlier. I think he's actually beefing with the Raiders. Like you said, you don't want to play with them anymore. We'll see how that goes, but that's one of their pass rushers that might not be there. But you're right. They do have a nice pass rush. They can obviously run the ball with Josh Jacobs.
Right.
We have Darren Waller now, so that's one target that they do not have. But they got a young tight end, Mike Mayer, that Eddie C mentioned earlier in the third round. So we'll see. Like I have no idea what Raiders are going to look like this year. They got a brand new quarterback.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I think it's a trap though because it's the week before Dallas.
I was thinking the trap game might be against Green Bay just because it's right after the bye.
Oh,
my trap games are Green Bay and Washington on the 22nd after Buffalo and before the Jets.
Yeah, like
I think by that time we would have been pushed around by San Francisco. Even if we win, we've been pushed around by Seattle. Seattle also has a great defense.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get smacked around by Miami, Buffalo, and then we're going to go to Washington thinking that we can win that game. And Washington has a good defense too.
Yeah.
And then the Green Bay game, I'm not want to sleep on Green Bay. I like Green Bay a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
By that time, it might be, Eddie said, if
It might be that. I mean, 8 and 9.
yeah.
I don't think I'm too crazy to think that. I mean, I don't know. I'm hoping it won't be 3 and
Right.
14.
You're not crazy. I also do think we're gonna win a couple games that we probably don't supposed to though.
Yeah.
Never know.
Probably the ones that I'm looking at are the Jets and maybe San Francisco. Like I said, we need to win those first
I
4
agree
games.
with San Fran. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually do think we're gonna get a Dallas game, whether it be week 1 or when we play them in Dallas. I think we're gonna split, but never know, man. They're division games, so it can go either way. We play them tough. It don't matter who the quarterback is. Like they beat us with Cooper Rush last year, and like it all depends. Their division games. All division games are tough. Just like Eddie C was talking about Washington. Like I think we're gonna sweep Washington, but I don't think they're gonna be like they still gonna be close. I think we'll win, but you know they're tough division games. Like they know us very well, just like we know them. So just like last year, we tied with Washington 1 game. Like our division games are always tough.
Right.
Right. And New England's up in the air.
Right. I don't know how Matt Jones is gonna look.
Right.
Bill Belichick hoodie over there, like he's hoodie. Like you never know. Like he's a Hall of Fame coach. So and that's right before the bye. So we could be running on fumes by then because our bye week is so late. It's not until week 13. So you never know. Like we have a tough schedule. Very, very tough. But we'll see. I got us like in the 8 to 11 range. Like if everything break good, 11. Most things break bad. It'll be around the 7, 8 range. Never know.
Before I make my prediction, can I ask y'all a question?
Hmm.
How good is Daniel Jones? If you rank 32 teams, right? Where is Daniel Jones ranked, like from 1 to 32?
Honestly, for me, right outside of the top, like outside the top 10, between 10 and 15.
Okay, because I have him ranked between 15 and 20. And listen, I'm not saying look, I don't watch Daniel Jones enough. You know what I'm saying? To be fair to the conversation, Giants fans watch him all the time, so they know what he looks like against bad teams, what he looks like against good teams, what he looks like when he's ahead in the game, what he looks like when he's behind in the game. You know what I'm saying? Because, for instance, Tony Romo used to look like a Hall of Famer when the Cowboys were ahead, right? But if they were behind in a close game, he was awful. Right. But nobody knows that except Cowboys fans, because after the game, you look at the box score and see that man threw for 325, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. The Cowboys know that 1 interception was on 3rd and 3 from the 40-yard line, and all you needed was a field goal to win. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's why I was asking about Daniel Jones. Like, how good is he?
Well, I guess to me is outside of the top 10 to 15 because of what he did last year with no weapons.
Okay.
Like earlier in the show before you guys got on, I said our number 1 wide receiver last year to lead us in receptions was Richie James and Saquon Barkley.
He ain't even on the roster.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So we have a whole new wide receiver room, and we have Darren Waller to go with him.
Okay.
So depending on how good our line is, if they actually have Daniel Jones upright, I have Daniel Jones actually cracking the top 10 maybe. Like I actually think he'll be pretty good. But last year, it's kind of hard to judge when he had to damn near rush for 1,000 yards. He ran for over 700 yards last year.
Yeah, that's not good.
Like I don't expect him to do as much running. I expect Darren Waller to be a huge, like the weapons that we had last year is not comparable to what we have this year at all. Like none.
Okay.
Like for us to have Darren Waller and Daniel Bellinger on the field at the same time is a huge upgrade.
Okay.
Without the wide receivers, and then we added Paris Campbell. We added the fastest wide receiver in the draft, Jalen Hyatt, in the 3rd round. And we added I don't want to say Isaiah Hodgins is an ad because he came on in the middle of the season, but he hasn't played a whole season with Daniel Jones either. I'm a second round draft pick Wendell Robinson. He was a second round rookie last year. He got hurt in week 7, so he didn't play all year. So none of Daniel Jones' weapons that he had for a whole year last year is on the team this year because Sterling Shepard got hurt in week 2 and hasn't played a regular season game since then either. So he has a whole new wide receiver room and Darren Waller. So now it's put up a shut up time. Like you said, he can be in the 10 to 15, but if he's in the 15 to 20 with those weapons, we're going to get a new quarterback in a couple of years. Then he's not a franchise quarterback to me.
The reason why I asked because he did that last year with y'all having like the weakest schedule in the NFL, right? With no weapons and all that stuff. Right. It was still a pretty bad schedule he's playing against. And this year the schedule is tougher. Mm-hmm. And so even though he's got better weapons, the schedule is tougher. Like Washington's defense is no joke, bro. That pass rush up front, man, they ain't no joke now. Now, I'm not saying that y'all can't beat them twice. Right. What I'm saying is you don't have to beat somebody 50-0. You just have to win by 1. You know what I'm saying?
That's where my best player. Well, don't take this out of context, but the most important player to me is Gano, because I wouldn't be shocked if we win a game 12-10.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
That might happen
where Daniel Jones, maybe runs for about 60 yards, throws for about 120, and gets you 1 touchdown, maybe. You understand what I'm saying? Right. To me, Jones is in the 10 to 12 to 13 range when it comes to quarterbacks. And, he's around that Kirk Cousins. Now, this is real NFL, right? I'm not talking about no fantasy.
No, I'm talking about real
NFL. He's around like the Kirk Cousins type realm at this point right now. But he definitely has – if we're going to win more than 8 games this year, if we're going to be a 10 game winner, he has to be at least the top 10 quarterback in the NFL to do so.
And I'll say this. Daniel Jones can't run this year at all because if he messes around and gets hurt and misses like 2 games, like say he leaves 1 game and misses 2 more, and Tyrod Taylor has to come in, and Tyrod Taylor's a great veteran, right? But say Tyrod Taylor gets hurt in the Seattle game, and then you got Miami, Buffalo, Washington, Jets.
Oh, no, the season's over by then.
Yeah.
But to be honest, Freezer, you could say that about damn near every starting quarterback in the league, though.
Right, but that's the reason why I use the example, though.
Right, if your backup gonna go in, then you're not gonna have a good season. I don't know that many teams that if their starting quarterback is gonna get hurt in the beginning of the year, your season is over.
And or can pivot. That's what I was gonna say. Like there aren't many teams that can take a blow to their quarterback and bringing it back up or pivot. Like instead of airing it out, go to a run game. Right.
The bad thing about that is that there's one team in our division that can do that. You know what I'm saying? If the Dallas Cowboys lose Dak, they just traded for Trey Lance and they can pivot.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because he's a mobile quarterback. I mean, it's a bad situation if it's just this year is not. And to go back to what you're saying, I think the same about Fields. That's why in fantasy I wasn't taking Fields. He's so high in the draft, but I'm not sure if he's going to be running the same way that he ran last year.
Nah, he won't.
Because he's such an important piece to them. Like, you don't want him you don't have to win a lot of games. You don't have to go to the playoff, Chicago, to be around the corner. You just have to keep Fields healthy for the next 3 to 4 years.
We're gonna trade Justin Fields because we taking Caleb Williams in April.
If the Giants falter and end up 3-14, and we have the first pick, no doubt about it. We're taking the quarterback, right?
No, y'all not. No, no, and I don't want to sound like no. The Giants drafting a black quarterback that high. Have you ever seen it?
Why not? It doesn't matter. I don't think
They don't do that. They don't. No, the Giants not taking no athletic guy like that, bro. They have a prototype. They have an archetype at quarterback that they like kind of athletic, like a dude that can move, but they generally like the pocket type passer, and if there's some athleticism, it's a plus. But I've been watching the Giants for 50 years, bro.
We different though now, Freezy.
Uh,
Because you could tell by the way they had Daniel Jones running last year. He ran for over 700 yards.
yeah, and y'all got Tyrod Taylor now, right?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like he came from Buffalo with them. So since Joe Shane and Brian Dable got here, I think the way that you think about the Giants, or anybody think about the Giants, even Giants fans, it has to change. Like this regime is not like it was, because you can't count David Gettleman because he's just an extension of Jerry Reese and what we were doing before.
Okay.
Now that Joe Shane got here, because I had said this at the beginning of the show too. Now that Joe Shane, because as soon as we got on, that's when I was talking about the front office in the beginning. So anybody watching it on the rewatch, skip back to the beginning of the show. Joe Shane it's a complete 180 when it comes to our front office and how we think and how we even draft. Like you can tell. Like Daniel Jones, I don't know. I could just tell by the way that it was more, not saying that he's Josh Allen, but you can tell that's how they would like to run their offense.
Right. He has the ability. He has that type of ability.
Right.
He's not as big as Josh.
Right. Exactly.
He's not as big as Josh. The skill level is not as
his arm is not as strong.
He's a poor man. He can be a poor man, Josh.
Right.
Exactly. And to add on to that point, I think you can throw that out the window with the drafting of Kayvon Thibodeau, somebody that came with tons of baggage from the draft, and he was still picked even before Neil. So
it shocked me when they drafted him. Like the last regime would not have drafted Kayvon Thibodeau.
No, they wouldn't have drafted.
And that's the kid out of Oregon, right? With all the issues.
Well, I wouldn't say issues. He really had no issues.
He
just talk a lot. Like he just talk a lot. When he retires, he's gonna be on NFL Network. Like,
okay.
One of those ambitious about the deal / businessman. Young dude like that. You're not used to rookies speaking like that. Like he was major in communication and journalism and stuff like that. Like I'm saying, he wants to be Michael Strahan.
He's Tiki Barber.
I can see like that type of personality, yes.
Okay.
Like with an edge rusher, you don't usually have that type of personality in the edge rusher. So I can understand why it turns teams off. But I think he'll be fine though. But when it comes to like off the field, there's no real issues like that. That was just it. It was his personality. He never got in any trouble or anything like that.
Okay.
It was just his personality, the way that he thinks. Like he doesn't, like if you hear him speak in an interview, like he doesn't seem like a person that was a rookie last year. Or when he speaks now, he seems like I don't know if he grew up fast or what. He seemed way more mature than most rookies.
Okay.
Hey, but
you just have to hone those, mold those types of guys. And if you have a strong infrastructure, a strong front office, you're able to make those picks and thrive off that.
Like Kayvon Thibodeau is so smart. You'll just have to make sure he knows that the main thing is the main thing. Football is the main thing, because he's smart enough to, if he wasn't a football player, he'll be successful in something else.
Let me ask you this real quick. I gotta get out of here, man. But
yeah, I gotta go too. Like it's exactly 11:30.
But I just want to ask you a really quick question.
Okay.
And your answer will determine whether I hit the subscribe button or not.
It's a test. Right? I like tests.
Who outside of Frank Gifford, who is the greatest running back that, in your opinion, the greatest Giants running back that you ever seen? Because if you say Tiki Barber, I'm not hitting the subscribe button.
See,
because Tiki was a step. Tiki Barber was an accumulator, right?
But you have to think about who you asking to though, because the type of person that I am, I actually like running backs that catch the ball out of the backfield.
Right.
So Tiki Barber was the best at that for us.
10,000 and 5,000. I know 10,000 rushing yards, 5,000.
That shit don't happen often, Freezy.
Nah, it's only
Not
three
like he
running
was
backs.
some bum, like he couldn't actually go in the Hall of Fame with those type of numbers. But
Right.
I get what you're saying about being an accumulator. See, I was born in '79, so Otis Anderson has a spot in my heart. Obviously, Ronnie Hampton,
Florida State running back. Yeah. Not Hampton. I'm talking about Anderson.
Oh, okay. Because I went to Florida State. And I don't know. I don't want to count Dave Meggett because he was more of a returner. I loved him when he was playing. But
Maurice Carthon?
Maurice Carthon? No.
Robbie Carpenter?
The best ever, though?
Okay.
I wouldn't say the best ever, but yeah,
the question was the best that you've ever saw.
Oh, the best that I have seen. So you have to think
yeah.
about like 80s on. So that you can't go with the older dudes. Like I would say, I was a Ronnie Hampton fan too, man, because he was just tough. But we were sorry when
monster.
But we were sorry when we had him. I don't want to go Tyrone Wheatley, but if you want to talk about talent, I guess I would say Tiki Barber, but I don't want to. I would say Otis Anderson would be my answer then, because I was a big Otis Anderson fan. I was one of those people doing little kids that was trying to get his autograph and stuff when I was.
Otis Anderson was the same type back in his early years. When he got older, when he became a giant, then he was more like he not catching balls out of the backfield.
Right, but you asked me that I've seen. So I think about. I'm born in '79. I'm 44 years old. So when I started watching football, Otis Anderson was the running back.
Right.
So like, in those early Super Bowl where Otis Anderson was running, that was my man. Like he was number 24. I remember all of him. But then after that, it was Ronnie Hampton. But yeah, I guess my answer would be Otis Anderson, since you don't want me to say Tiki Barber.
See, I thought you was gonna say Joe Morris.
No, I don't know. Even though I like running backs coming out of the backfield catching, I wouldn't put Joe Morris over.
Joe Morris was a little dude, but he wasn't catching no footballs though.
That's what I'm saying. He was little. No, I wouldn't put him over Otis Anderson. No.
Oh.
Over Otis?
Oh.
Nah, I want like.
I think the best running back that I've ever seen with my own eyes is a Giants running back, and I'm not talking about long-term stats. I'm talking about impact on the field. Is Rodney Hampton. Rodney Hampton.
Where were you guys? Maybe this is a stupid question, but where were you guys ranked Saquon then?
See, he get hurt too much, man. Because we're not talking about.
I mean, he got his injury, right? So that was 1 year.
More than one.
But as in a prototypical physical standpoint that can do it all, catch the football, run, juke, as a player.
I guess that kind of changes the question. If you're going to talk about who is the most talented running back that we've ever had, it's definitely Saquon Barkley. Yeah, absolutely. Right. Yeah. It's just that I guess with Freezy question, who's the best I've ever seen? I guess with I don't know. I guess just what they were given to me was Otis, and just because the tough yards, goal line back when he was running over people. But Saquon, from a talent perspective, I think he's by far the most talented running back that we've ever had.
Yeah.
Like
it's just, you know what did it for me with Saquon when he came back from his injury last year, and like the first two plays that he got the ball, and he spun 2 times against those defenders.
Right.
I'm like, I swear to God, I thought I was seeing Barry Sanders out there, because he was doing these pirouettes.
Saquon, and his toughness last year, because like you said, with his injury, he had like a neck injury. Like second half of the season, Saquon Barkley
he did
like a brace. Like if you have a running back with neck and shoulder issues, that's crazy. And he didn't miss any games, even though he didn't have the same production. He was used as a decoy, but the fact that he actually still suited up and played like a running back with a shoulder problem, that's nuts. Like he got a lot of brownie points for me. Like that really showed his toughness. And as long as a running back can show their toughness, I mean that's half the battle right there. Because you get hit so much, you can't not be tough in a running back, and you could tell the running backs who aren't tough.
Right.
Saquon showed me his toughness last year. He didn't really show me his toughness like that. But last year, like he was trying to run over people with a hurt shoulder.
Yeah.
Like that's not normal. Like,
Yeah.
you got to be kind of sick in the head to run into a brick wall with a shoulder problem.
I think his legacy is going to be that of Fred Taylor, right? And no, Fred Taylor was
nasty. Like he was my favorite running backs, but he just
couldn't stay healthy, and Jacksonville couldn't keep offensive line in front. They were always adding. They added one piece per year, and by that time, Fred Taylor's time as being the main guy was over. And I think Saquon might be headed down that road too, because I don't think y'all rookie center and them two guards are gonna struggle running the football, man. And it has nothing to do with y'all not wanting to do it or Saquon's ability.
Mm-hmm.
It's just if you're having listen, guards run the running game. If you don't have great guards, you're not gonna have a good running game. I'm sorry.
Right. I said that in the beginning of the show. I think that's definitely our Achilles heel on our offense is our offensive line right in the middle. Right. Because even though I like John Michael Smith, he's still a rookie. So he's still a rookie, and we got two unproven, not even unproven, because Mike Lewinsky is proven. He's just an average, starter in the NFL.
Everybody's not gonna be a star, bro.
Right. So I don't know, like Evan.
I think as long as Waller stays healthy and he's able to get into the middle of the seam and keep those DBs honest, I think we'll be able to run just fine.
You mean
he has to be
in the box? Yeah.
He needs to stay healthy for this to work. If he doesn't stay healthy, then they're going to load up on the box and then they're going to let Saquon do anything. Right. But once Darren Waller gets a few little 7-yard passes back to back, a little 13-yarder, boom, they're going to pull back a little bit, and Saquon is going to be able to eat them up. Once they do that on their back heels, they're not going to be able to stop.
Let me. So I want to just disagree just a little bit before I go.
Okay.
I think the wide receiver out of Tennessee is going to have an Odell Beckham type impact for the Giants.
Hopefully,
right? Right. And I'm not saying he's got Odell Beckham hands, but who does? Right. What I'm talking about is these big 6'3" corners trying to guard that dude, bro. All it takes is for him to get an inch of daylight, and he gone.
Yep.
Yeah, we were lucky to get him when we got him. To be honest.
Yep. There's no way in hell he should have lasted to the third round.
Right. Yeah.
It almost feels. You know how you say a lot of people say the NFL is scripted. It almost felt scripted, the fact that Jalen Hyatt lasted that long in the draft when we got him. There's no way in hell he should have lasted that long. It didn't make no sense to me, to be honest. I did a rookie show. If y'all guys wanted to go back and actually, wanted to do, I did like profiles of every draft pick that we had on the last rookie show that me and Steph had. And Jalen Hyatt, I showed highlights, talked about his measurables and stuff like that. I did that with every draft pick that we had. Jalen Hyatt is like my new son on the team. Like, I think he's going to have a great rookie season. He's a rookie wide receiver, so he has to stay healthy. He's a little light in the ass, so as long as they have him in the slot and he can't get jammed up in the line of scrimmage, have him on the move all the time. Once he gets off the line of scrimmage, is very few cornerbacks in this league that's going to be able to go step for step with him down the field. Like he burnt Sauce Gardner twice during the last preseason game, and that was just the first two drives of the series. Like, it was crazy. Like, I think
I'm pretty sure Sauce is going to punch him up and they play. He's going to
stuff him at the
line. He ain't gonna give him that. He ain't gonna give him that lane.
But that's why if I'm out, Eddie, that's why if I'm Brian Dable, I'm not having him on the outside. I just have him in the slot. You can't jam him in the slot if you have him in motion on.
Oh, okay.
So
I didn't hear you say that.
Yeah, that's what I would do. Like if I was the coach, I would have Jalen Hyatt in the slot 100% of the time that people can't jam him, because like you said, he's so light. If you do jam him and get your hands on him, he's
The
not.
play over.
Yeah,
By the time he get off the
he's
play
not.
over.
He's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
He's not getting over the pick.
No, not at all.
And
Nope.
He's dying on that
Giants
pick.
fans, think Jeremy Maclin. Don't think don't think Deshaun Jackson, right? Think Jeremy Maclin like a dude that eventually is gonna become an elite route runner with enough speed to always seem like he's open.
Right. Like Jalen Wright.
I'm just hoping that he becomes what Mikael Hardman should have been.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I see what you mean.
Okay.
Yeah. All he needs to, like, once he honed down on the route running, I think the sky's the limit for Jalen Hyatt.
Yeah.
He seemed like a good kid though. All these interviews and stuff. I don't know him personally, obviously, but like for everything that I've heard, he said everything right, except for him wanting to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. He shouldn't have said that. He shouldn't have said that to the media. He probably feeling himself a little bit. Like, I understand that you put it on your vision board, but you don't got to say that as a rookie.
What if he does though?
Oh, if he does, I'm not even saying that he won't. I think a quarterback will, because there was so many quarterbacks drafted in the first round.
Right.
I think a quarterback will win it, but like if they do what I say you do and put him in the slot and just have him run downfield most of the time, he might lead the league in like yards per reception. He might not have 1,000 yards or anything, but he might fuck around and have like over 50 catches for like 8 something.
Yeah. And if he gets y'all 5 touchdowns, it's a win.
Yeah.
Right. If he gets y'all 5 touchdowns, is it because for one, if he gets y'all 5 touchdowns, you know they were deep balls because he's not a red zone threat.
Right, exactly.
No.
Right. So
And I can see it happening because Darius Slayton gets injured all the time. Isaiah Hodgins, he showed a little bit, but he's got to show more.
Right.
Who else we got?
Paris Campbell, but he's often injured too.
I like Paris though. I'm hoping that he stays. Yeah, he's got a shot. He's got a shot for 5 TDs this year.
Like all of our wide receivers are, not all of them, but a lot of them coming. No, we actually got like that's what I'm saying. It's not like last year. The only short people that we have is Wan'Dale Robinson. Like Paris Campbell is 6'1". He's going to be a slot receiver. Jalen Hyatt is 6 foot 6'1" ish. Isaiah Hodgins is 6'4". Darren Waller is 6'6".
Did you just say Jalen Hyatt? Hold on, bro.
Jalen Hyatt is 6 foot even. He's not a short receiver.
Hold on, bro. You talking to a dude that go to Gamecock volunteer games, bro?
Okay, look it up.
You know what I'm saying? If he's 6 foot, I'm 6 foot.
I'm just saying that's what they have.
That's the guy I'm listening at, right?
Yeah,
he must be wearing,
Yeah, he's not short. I would say he's skinny, but I would say he's around 6 foot. If not 6 foot, he's 5'11". Odell is 5'11".
Height, yeah.
So, like, the only short one we have is Sterling Shepard and Wan'Dale Robinson. So everybody else is 6 foot and above. It's just what they're gonna do with it. I have no idea. We'll see. Darius Slayton is 6'2". Like I said, Isaiah Hodgins is 6'4". Darren Waller, who I count as a wide receiver, is 6'6". Daniel Bellinger is 6'4". So, like, we got height and we have red zone targets. It's just all about the offensive line to see if we could put them together. Last year, we were actually, even though with the lack of weapons, surprisingly, we were one of the best red zone offenses in the league last year when it came to scoring touchdowns. But that doesn't mean it's going to translate. But
they ain't had nothing to do with talent, bro. Y'all head coach is an excellent play caller. Whoever was y'all, I watched like 3 games, bro. Y'all play calling in the red zone, bro, is phenomenal, bro.
It ain't even Brian Dable. He relinquished the play calling, even though he did the play calling in Buffalo. Mike Kafka was our play caller last year, and it was his first time.
The quarterback for the Eagles?
Yeah, the quarterback coach for Patrick Mahomes. So he did all that Kansas City stuff last year, even though we didn't have the personnel. A lot of that stuff was Kansas City-esque with Andy Reid.
You know, he used to back up McNabb for Andy Reid.
And he played for Minnesota too. I remember him playing for Minnesota. Like, I remember Mike Kafka. He wasn't that good. Like, he was.
He wasn't that good.
He was smart, a backup quarterback. He was just good. He was just smart.
Yeah. Hey, fellas, I'm gonna get out of here, man. Thank y'all for having me, man.
Yeah, man. Salute to Ron real quick. I'm gonna get out of here myself. Salute to Ron, still Knicks fans, my guy. Hey, yo, I'm gonna tell Ron and everybody else before I get out of here. I will be on halftime during the Dallas game. It's gonna be halftime all the way to the end of the game, halftime to crunch time. And I'm gonna be doing that all season, just like I did last season. But the difference is this year I'm gonna add a second show. Just like today, I'm gonna go on every Wednesday night, like around 9ish, to talk about the upcoming game. So we'll have a preview show on Wednesdays and the watch along on Sundays.
You do R&B too?
Say that again.
You do R&B also? Because Ron think he knows everything about
yes,
R&B.
me and Ron definitely has to have that conversation. Even though I am an ex-football player, I'm actually also a musician also. So all this music stuff in the back, I'm actually more of a music dude than I am a sports dude. I'm just so happen to be a big football player.
Yeah. Okay.
So we'll have the Freezy vibes and stuff. I did check out a couple episodes.
Yo, we get crazy over there,
salute
bro.
to Bully, salute to Corey Lee. Y'all crazy.
We get crazy over there,
Y'all
man.
crazy. And I'm not even about the music stuff. Like I checked out y'all conspiracy theory show. Yeah, y'all a little nuts over there, bro.
Yeah,
I don't know if I want to come over there, Freezy.
I've been on that show a couple of times. That conspiracy theory gets a little hectic.
Yeah, that's a little.
That's because y'all believe in dinosaurs. Y'all believe in dinosaurs. That's why. Yeah,
I wasn't talking about those dinosaurs
animal the
when I was
size
there,
of the Chrysler building existed. Right. Okay.
Yeah, man. But salute the vibes and stuff. It's a pretty good show. Y'all a little crazy, but Freezy, I don't know how you do it, man. You the hardest working man in Knicks media history, man.
Hey, man, I work from home, bro.
I'm trying to get like
all
you.
the time. I'm about to go make a sandwich.
Me too. Shoot, I didn't say I was going to bed. I said I got to get over here.
That's what I'm saying.
I definitely got to make a sandwich with the lightly salted chips, man. I already got it waiting for me.
For sure.
All right, so salute, Eddie. You got anything coming up, man? You want to talk about anything?
Man, to be honest with you, this is weird because I was actually gonna do a fantasy football type analysis on my channel. I've closed my channel down for the past year. It's just really, to be, like Freezy has been, consistent. Mm-hmm. It's very, very hard to be consistent and put out content. I mean, it's not an easy task. I big up Freezy because I tried doing it and I just cannot find the time to do it. Like even today I had a little bit of time. I worked early and I was going to go and do some of that, but you guys came on and I just said, you know what, let me just come in here and give my point of view on the football because, it's just so hard I don't want to put out content today and then not put it out tomorrow, but I am actually thinking about maybe doing like a weekly fantasy thing. Since I'm really into the fantasy football. Start talking about the Knicks again when they start coming back and just, dabble here and there. So just be on the lookout. If you guys want to hear some of my opinions, some of the content that I want to put out, you can just go to the Eddie C, the B-Ball Zombie channel and, check me out from here to here. Sometimes I put up shorts too and, just vibe with me and go back and forth with me. I'm here for the conversation. And nice. Basically that's it. Yeah.
Nice, man. You're welcome here anytime, man. Y'all were great.
So, yeah, man. I love chatting with everybody. It's it's one of the things I like going on Freezy. Once in a while I go on there and I feel like he has a good time when I'm there. So and like the chat has a good time and same with anybody else that I'm on.
I just wish you would talk more and stop being so what I'm saying, so quiet.
So quiet.
Because I know other people be rocking and all that stuff, man. But
Freezy, your show is so like at this point, Freezy's show is so good. You just hit live or just be on autopilot.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's true. Everything is he's trolling me right there. Like don't listen to him. He's trolling me because
you were right about Vucevic. Remember the Vucevic thing? Remember the Vucevic conversation? And then at the end of the season. Everybody like, yo, we need Vucevic. Remember that?
Well, that's part of my allure. I'm always early. never late.
You never late,
So,
right?
Never late.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you're that early, you crazy. So the first one through the fire is the one that gets burned. But no, it's just my points of views are always forward thinking, and I'm always thinking ahead, and that's just the way I am, bro.
Yep.
All right,
All right,
man.
so I got a Quentin Grimes calling my name, bro. I got a
right,
Grimes in the kitchen, bro. I'm gonna cut that thing in a triangle.
Hey, yo, man, you gonna stop getting on? See, you be trolling on Grimes, man. Then dig him up the next episode, right? You'll call him a ham sandwich, but they're gonna say like he gonna be our starting 2 guard for the next 5 years.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
If not 10.
I'm gonna go in the kitchen and order me a number 6. Yeah, man.
Stop, man. All right, man. Salute to everybody.
All right,
Nice
y'all.
to be back. Y'all were great, man. Peace.
All right, peace, yo.